Hello, this is Karsa, Karsa KKWX, Karsa's Media, KKWX is my empire. Here today with my friends from NRT as we're doing episode 26. I'll try to.
We're chasing people with sins. That's what the last thing.
Yeah, that part, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And I believe that Nathaniel, you didn't go with that. You didn't do that, but you came in talking about what you're going to do about the vampire that is in the manor with Elle. Unfortunately, Elle is not with us today, so it is just you three talking, and Elle ended up getting called away by one of his bars that are
One of their contacts.
one of their contacts. So
I mean, Francis wasn't even with them. He fucked off to go do his string and translate stuff.
Yes, because after Nathaniel light-fingered a shit ton of documents, he came back and immediately dumped them into Francis's arms. And then Francis got a weird look in his eye and ran off into a room. And all that's been heard is a lot of swearing and string being pinned up.
In languages not heard in a while.
Mhm. So let's start with you, Francis, since you were the one that was not
Doing
in, that was doing all the work that was not in last week.
Yes. So I have a bunch of paperwork. I have some knowledge of a vampire being present somewhere.
Mhm.
I have a literal web of red string. But what have I discerned from all these documents?
Well, we do need to investigate a mystery.
Hey, where's that? Well,
Hey, ask a dumb question, I'm gonna give you a dumb answer.
fair enough. Well, let's roll.
Mhm.
Let's see if I can level up.
Hmm.
I do not.
No, but you definitely get some information. So I believe that gives you 2 holds. If I'm correct?
I don't know. I don't have the drop-down menus open anymore.
That is your
Yeah,
own fault.
2. If I have them all open, I have to do extra scrolling.
Shame. So yes, you get your 2 holds.
Yes, and a array of questions I can ask with said holds.
Yes. So,
Are there any that are just grabbing you by the throat and demanding to be asked?
Concealed here.
okay. Well, we can start with what is being concealed here.
Yeah, because I don't think there's any way a paper trail is going to tell me what's going to happen.
I I'd rather you didn't use the what's going to happen thing because things seem to be changing each episode. So
That's fair.
Here's the thing. You say about the paper trail's not really going to help.
no, I'm saying
Except it kind of does.
it does help a lot.
Yeah,
Actually.
it kind of does help because while you're going through everything, you kind of notice that, you know, you do that weird thing where you kind of look at all the string and it's this big amalgamated ball. It looks like multiple spider webs just like smooshed into one. And it occurs to you that there's clearly a pattern in several areas. And when you start linking those together, you realize that there's a lot of things that don't quite make sense when it comes to things that the governments are doing, right? Like, you'll notice there's a story in one paper that you've got pinned up that seemed relevant to something else. You thought, I'll pin that there for now. And then you notice something else that that was announced when a previous interview with Dexter. And it occurs that he's going against that with a lot of support. So why is one part of the government moving to do this specific task, and then his entire set just comes in and steamrolls it?
Regime change happens all the time.
Well,
Exactly.
that's kind of the thing. It looks like
I mean,
There are
granted, it'll happen in the
definitely
20s. It happens in the 20s, and then it'll peter off in the 30s, and then it'll be about 100 years before it starts happening again in the new 20s, when a new guy moves in, immediately fires everybody that wasn't, you know, part of his old team of cronies, and really fucks everything up.
yeah, but that's not going to happen for 100 years. That'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
No, it's happening in the 20s, and it happens again in the 20s. That's my point.
Yeah,
This
but
isn't
that's what I'm
new.
saying. Yeah. You know, like the one in 100 years, don't worry about it. It won't be your problem. You'll probably be dead by then. So yeah, it occurs to you there's a lot of these things going on, and as you start making the extra connections, you can kind of see this pattern that you would be prepared to bet money that there is a shadow group within, not directly within the government here, but definitely someone pulling strings to make specific choices.
And I get the hunch that it might have something to do with the fact that this guy's kid's a vampire.
Well, I mean, it's definitely connected. Because it could... While you're looking through, you do sort of notice that there's one story that definitely sticks out. And it's mention of the family having some hardship when the son was diagnosed with a specific condition. And very quickly went quiet. But then, literally just a few weeks later, suddenly
Miraculously
he's
cured.
back. Yeah, no, he's not miraculously cured. The father is suddenly back at his job, all happy and smiles and everything. Theoretically, you would assume he should be, you know, potentially considering like quitting his job and everything, making bad decisions, because in theory, the story should end up with, you know, we're sad to inform everyone that his son has died. But that story doesn't exist. And the timing is very suspicious. And it just adds to that. This is clearly a push. Somehow these things are linked. That someone is basically using this as they're using this as like leverage to push their agenda through
Political blackmail, basically.
Yeah, through strategic positions. Because there's a couple other people that seem to be going along that don't have any, you know, they've had previous times where, you know, big spat between Dexter and this other guy. And then a couple of weeks at the back of that, they're best buddies at a function and talking about the plans they've got. Meanwhile, you would expect people in this business at that point, they should be at each other's throats, not being best friends.
Not shaking hands and practically dancing with each other at the gala.
Exactly.
The other thing that you do notice, what was the other question you had? Was what is concealed? A lot of
Well,
blackmail.
that is that is what's being concealed.
There's a lot of blackmail involved. And one of the journals that you got was actually the guard's journal, talking about blackmail and what he could do if he ever lost his job. As if he ever survived it. Something else that you would notice is that because it was also part of the materials that was given to you, there are vials of blood and ledger of how the blood was taken, when it was taken, and how it was taken.
And who it belongs to.
Mm-hmm. No, not about who it belongs to.
But you can make a very educated guess considering where it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean that was blatant. It's blatantly the kid's blood. Like the very fact of Nathaniel mentioning like where he got this stuff as he gives you this massive set of paperwork. It's like, I got this at so and so's place. You know, I went to Dexter's place and I stole all this stuff. Here, you investigate it.
I mean, Francis was literally
That's
there
enough.
for the.
But he went back.
Oh,
Yeah.
you went back?
Hey, he did it amazingly. It was great.
Yeah, how the fuck did you distract him the second time?
All right, so you're gonna have to go and watch the previous episode to hear it because it was amazing.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. I miss all the fun when I'm at an actual real world family function.
Anyway.
Hey, I mean, look, you could always introduce some hallucinogenics, and then you can have a lot of fun with family.
Now,
But that's a you thing.
some other things that you definitely notice the shadow group. You do notice the blackmail from the guard. The head guard. It's not the guard, it's the head guard. Who's keeping the information.
Chief of Security.
Yep. Keeping the information. And about the blood. And I think that is all you will get as far as that stuff goes.
Here's your other question.
What are they going to do, which is not something we can actually discern?
Well, you
Well, to a
can,
degree,
to a
there are
degree.
certain things. Because, like, I'm of the opinion that essentially we apply part of the rule for the flexible alternative, which is based on how you're investigating.
I think we should definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Obviously,
I've never read this.
Well, you should, because it's the based on how you're investigating something, which is why, you know, I point out like the stuff that you're able to discern based on your map of mental shit. So the specifics on what they're going to do long term are very difficult to discern from the information you have. But you do end up having this little flash of inspiration when you're looking through some of the stuff, and it occurs to you. You do recognize a few of the symbols that were on that picture of the amulet that's supposedly a key. And when you investigate them a little bit closer, you notice the timeline is all kind of screwed up.
With the amulet it's acquiring, etc., etc.?
Well, the fact is, you're able to sort of, you know, sit and trace out a couple of the symbols that were partly not really that great to see in the photo.
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to work out that at least two of those symbols, based on if if the artifact is what it is supposed to be,
Are in the wrong place
these,
or something?
No, there's no way that these symbols would exist on the artifact because they're too new. This artifact is supposed to supposedly, if it's what they say it is, it would be anywhere between 5 and 10,000 years old at least, if not older. So why is there a symbol on it that's about 1,200 years old?
So,
Which tells you that what they're going to do is not what they assume. Which is
so
totally
the
using their
so
artifact.
if they have the amulet, the amulet's probably a fake and liable to not open a portal to whatever they want, but potentially release a plague of locusts or something.
But it wouldn't open a portal. Like, the theory is that it's a physical key to a door. But evidently, why would it have a symbol? Why would it have two symbols on it that are way younger than the others in languages that wouldn't exist at the time it was made?
That's a good question.
So
He sticks his
basically,
head
with
out the
that
door.
info-
He sticks his head out the door. Hey guys, we might be chasing the wrong kind of artifact.
well, with the information of that,
What does that have to do with prepubescent Draculas?
Everything potentially.
Doesn't track.
that's a good one.
I mean, the good news is, depending on how old the kid is, they'll never have to suffer through puberty.
He's 16.
He's perpetually suffering through puberty.
Yeah, that's gotta suck.
Could be why he's asleep.
No, it's because technically you guys were there during the day.
Fair.
Remember,
Oh, no, that's
remember,
even worse. Teenage
Dracula's,
Dracula? Ugh.
yeah, teenage Draculas in sunlight. I mean, come on. Have you ever seen a teenager
Even
in the
worse.
sun? Yeah, and that's
I
just talking
hated the
about
sunlight
normal.
when I was
I
a
can tell you
teenager.
about whatever.
Exactly. I mean, this is that whole thing, right? Teenagers are allergic to the sunlight, but this one's a Dracula. That's like teenager squared at that point. So, yeah. Basically, it kind of tells you that regardless of where that artifact is, it's kind of a moot point. So the whole idea of even if they have the artifact, it basically means someone's going to go to wherever the place is, try it, and it's not going to work.
Right.
But at the same time, you're not fully convinced of that, because keeping in mind, as far as you know, Dexter left the party before the theft. And you were aware of two involved in the theft. One got dusted on the way out. The other one, you guys collectively beat the crap out of on a boat and dusted him. So
Dusted,
theoretically,
exploded.
yeah. So in theory, the amulet never left the island.
Right. But it was also never found. And we still have to explain that one guard who seemed to have been enthralled.
Wasn't there
Yeah, I mean,
also,
he-
now
he
forgive
did
me,
find
it's
out.
been a week, it's been several weeks, but wasn't there also this whole thing about, like, how the Draculas got to the island in the first place?
Yeah, I mean,
And
that
that
was
the
covered.
senator was involved?
What was involved?
And that the senator was involved? Or not senator, cabinet member?
Oh,
Well, yeah, he was there, though. The when you spoke to the butler, you know, Jeeves the butler, he did inform you that effectively he was blackmailed into allowing some extras to go across unchecked.
Yeah, and wasn't there some kind of connection to
Yes,
If I
there
remember
was
from
a
then.
connection to Dexter.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing that's kind of weird about the entire setup is the fact that he left prior to the theft actually going on.
Oh,
And-
that's ingenious. It makes it that much harder to tie it to him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Like, if I was facilitating a theft but didn't want to be blamed for it, leaving, like, publicly leaving before the theft even occurred would be the smartest thing.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I mean,
However, there is a small wrench being thrown into the gears here, which is the fact that with the knowledge of that, is that Francis would probably be able to bet that that's not actually why Dexter was there. Because if you remember, the guy who was doing the translating, he was killed before the party. And seemed to be killed with a level of violence that suggests likely that someone involved in that knew or had gained information that the artifact wasn't real prior to the theft being taken. Which then begs the question, why did the theft go ahead if they knew it was fake?
Wait,
But that is a big...
how long have we known that the artifact was fake?
About 5 minutes.
Yeah. This is how long. This is how long that the party officially knows, because Francis has just discovered.
And how did
Yeah,
Francis figure that out?
By rolling really
compiling-
well and investigating the...
No, what I mean
The-
is
the
that,
artifact.
like, because we don't have the artifact, it's missing. So,
But you have a photo of it.
okay, so based on the photo, he determines that the artifact was fake. Okay.
Yes, because the symbols
Wait.
on it cannot have been put on there when they were determined to have been put on there.
Yeah.
that it could be fake. Yeah.
That what's described is not what's pictured.
Well, I mean, in that case, like that, it kind of takes the urgency off of this a tad. Like, okay, woo, they're not going to be using it in the midst of some kind of horrible ritual or whatever.
I mean, they're still going to try.
I mean, the fact is, you've still got a child Dracula, and definitely, what's the word? Blackmailed government official of high position.
But I may as well
That's
ask.
right,
Since
yeah.
but I may as well ask since I wasn't here. What happened at the radio station, Vinny?
I did quite a bit of investigation, and I'm trying to remember the exact results. But I remember doing a lot of the investigation purpose. Okay, I have to ask the voices in this one. I can't remember the conclusions that we came up with. I remember doing like all the forensics and stuff like that with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was partially AFK during bits of that, but I do remember that you were able to ascertain that the guy was super questionable, had interests in his fellow actors, well, not his fellow actors, but the actors on the show.
Yeah.
That you went after. It was clear that the brand on the guy's back was made by some sort of supernatural means, because, clearly you've seen people that have been branded before in criminal investigations. There's no way you would just happen to have this, unless he literally had this outside, ran outside, got the brand, ran back in and branded a dude, and no one noticed a guy with a giant brand running through the building.
With a giant hot branding iron.
The guy that we saw was also like that big Sasquatch thing. I remember the old lady complaining about,
a lot of thumping and stuff.
Yeah, the thumping,
Yeah.
and then that big Sasquatch, big huge body that fell and jumped multiple stories and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Didn't she
Yeah,
describe them as like having horns almost?
Yeah,
Hooves.
there was a hooves. I remember that. Horn, was there horns? I think I remember horns.
I can't remember if it was ever
I don't think
expressly
I ever
stated.
said horns. I don't think I ever said horns.
Okay, well, until we hear about horns, we shouldn't assume it was a Lucifer.
I mean, you are free to make whatever assumptions you want. If you want to assume Lucifer, go for it.
No, a Lucifer.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm talking about the species, not the biblical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, but much as how I would say, you could assume anyone that you're talking to as human.
You're free to make whatever assumptions you wish.
Exactly.
I mean, that is
Not a human,
Sylvanas'
he's Adam.
catchphrase.
Yeah, she also. You got a rough sketch. I can't actually remember offhand what exactly the sketch was defined as.
It was.
It's in the notes somewhere, but the main sort of thing was there was also there was a door drawn into the image that the sketch artist had basically written "magic door?" because that's effectively what the old lady had described it as. That it looked like this thing basically pulled a door open in a wall that doesn't have a door and buggered off through it. Which is, why she spent the entire time being like, well, you got to say I'm crazy, but this is what I saw.
You're gonna say I'm gonna say you're crazy. I'm gonna say I'm not sober enough.
And if we remember correctly, you stood on a box to make sure that you got to the right height.
Right, because that's why I was verifying that the creature was verifying the height of the critter. But it was
Yeah.
And in the
From her perspective.
picture, she basically shows a guy who seems to have clown shoes, but they're kind of poking upward, like as if they're on heels, and wearing a long coat because, well, it's that time of the year, but there's fur everywhere except for the face.
That part I remember, yeah.
So
So we're not quite sure if it's a furry or a Lucifer.
what? Why are you obsessed with it being a demon?
I legitimately remember hearing horns at some point.
I mean, you could go and rewatch the last episode too.
And horns
Might have
plus
been suggested. I honestly can't remember.
it may be like I could have sworn that I had heard horns, but either way, well, horns plus hooves strongly indicates Lucifer. If it's just hooves, then it may not be Lucifer. It may just be a furry of some sort. So we'll see. I mean, theoretically, it's also possible it's just a furry, even if it did have horns and hooves.
I mean, there's an equal chance that might be 3 Lucifers in a trench coat.
Hell, it could be fucking Krampus.
No, Krampus is fake.
Really,
listen
that's
to
where
the
you draw the
conversation.
line.
Krampus is
Yeah.
fake. No. We've had talks with Saint Nicholas. That's fake.
Yeah, and he's a boy. You cannot distrust the boy.
No, I'm mad with the boy.
Not yet, you're not, but you will be when you learn other things. Like where those
Like
top
a
men
mad-
come from.
I could have sworn there was some song mad about the boy. Like,
There is, and it's still about 5 years out. I've made that joke several times. I've been so depressed that the song doesn't exist yet in our time period.
no, it's okay. It's your own song. You're writing it right now. In a few years, someone else will steal it from under your feet and publish it and make a bunch of money off of it. You shake your fist at them impotently.
Yes, it's the goodnight sweetheart tactic.
Yeah, exactly.
For those who have seen that time travel epic with the guy who played Rodney from Only Fools and Horses.
Anyway, so anything else that you would like to learn from what you have in front of you?
Do Draculas have reflections?
That actually is a good question, and not related to the situation.
Maybe you should ask.
Well,
Hayden that.
there's a quick potential way to test. We do have some of what is presumably the child Dracula's blood.
Well, plus you do have Hayden and Ashley, who both have dealt with vampires before.
So
I don't care about vampires. I'm asking about Draculas.
Dracula's before.
Francis smacks Nathaniel one. They're the same fucking thing.
Nathaniel,
Nathaniel is going to very slowly turn towards Francis. Place both of his hands on the side of Francis' head and pulls him up close. Do not ever strike me again. Also, how are you hearing the voices too?
Who said I ever stopped?
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh my god.
He puts on his tinfoil hat and walks away.
Okay.
He then goes to find Hayden and Ashley.
I think the most important question there is how far off the ground were you holding him?
If he can actually get out of that.
Well, my assumption was that he was sitting.
Alright, fair enough.
But anyway. No, there's no need to bother. There's a quick test. Nathaniel
How do you know that? How do you know that the boy's blood? How do you know
He's
that the
got a
boy's
sample
blood?
of his blood. Like, unless if the blood is visible in the mirror, it means that there'd just be a floating circulatory system. Like,
Francis literally puts his hat in front of the blood. Can they see the blood?
No,
Is
you
he gonna
can't see
remember
the
his
blood
hat?
because there's a hat in the way of it.
The hat is very
I
shiny.
knew it.
I knew it.
Yeah,
the hat
it's
is invisible.
It's invisible when it's obscured by things. That's its superpower.
it's just like Invisible from Mystery Men. I'm invisible, but no one's looking at me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See? It's a legit superpower. No, the thing is, right? The thing is, when you try this, there are bits that look kind of blurry, almost like they're fading out. It's not completely transparent.
Well, this would indicate that this particular Dracula would be at least partially visible.
So are we saying that vampires become less visible in the mirror with age?
You are free to make whatever assumptions you would like.
Yeah, this is one we're probably just gonna ask the experts.
Yeah, at this point, I'm gonna go ask Hayden.
Okay.
So Francis will loudly walk over to Hayden to make his intentions to ask a question clear. Hey Hayden, can Draculas be seen in a mirror? How does this work?
He's going to be sitting in his office having a cigarette, reading a book. And just kind of snap it shut. What do you mean, Draculas?
Vampires. We've got a teenage vampire to deal with a congressman. Or a cabinet member.
Okay. And I kind of sort of loudly thump the book down and lean on the table. What do you need to know about them?
Visibility in the mirror. Effects of having a 16-year-old vampire running around.
Don't know.
Fair enough. Is it possible that they get less visible in a mirror with age because we've got their blood and it seems slightly blurry in a reflective surface?
He just kind of blinks at you for a second and then Is this the child vampire you're talking about?
Yes.
Then he's probably not fully turned.
Oh.
What makes you say that?
Well, if
Wait,
you're
he's
being
not
turned,
fully turned. How does that work? Is he partially dead?
It's an infection. It's like a disease. It takes
Death
time.
is kind of arbitrary, like... Death is kind of a dichotomy.
Well, you don't need to be dead. You can be turned without dying. It's very painful from my understanding, but it can be done. See, from what I'm aware of, when someone is turned, you need a wound on the body, and then you introduce the vampire's blood to the body. Depending on how much will change how quickly they're turned. We refer to them as ghouls in that state. They gain some parts of the abilities that the vampire has. Be that the healing from wounds, being able to live longer. Sometimes they'll gain the hunger, as it's referred to. It's possible that's what's been done, because after all, the kid should be dead by the disease, but he's not. So it's likely he's only been given a few drops, rather than, and he kind of lifts his hand up to sort of gesture like a stand. The full size of the vials that were picked up, the standard size medical vial. He gestures about that kind of size, and he says, essentially, you need a vial probably about this kind of size, full, to turn the average human being. If you get less of that, then it's less effective. Again, this is based on a number of books.
Degrees of vampirism. You said it's like a disease.
As far as I'm aware.
But you said it's like a disease, so, like, he's just gonna become more vampire-like over time?
I would hazard yes, but it's not well documented enough for me to give you a solid answer.
Also, there's a very good chance that artifact we're looking for might be fake.
Why'd you say that?
He presents the paperwork and evidence. So these symbols cannot have been here from this time period. Number one. What's being pictured here is not what we're seeing, and what's being described is definitely not it. It's close. If you only had the description and never seen the symbols before, you'd be easily fooled.
Well, I mean, that is one of the reasons why you were scouted for this, because you know languages.
Yep. And we also know that the guy that was doing the task of translating was killed before the party. Why would he be killed if he didn't already know that the thing was a fake?
It does come across very strange, that.
I think he was dragging his feet trying to prolong his own life.
And you think it's likely that at that time he was effectively forced into telling them that it was fake?
Yep. But because they had already committed, they went forward with the heist anyway.
That's the part that just seems strange. Like, even if you're already there, why risk it? Even if you're already there and then you find out that it's fake, why risk everything to continue the heist for something that you don't need and don't really want?
Well, they still wanted it. But I guess they might have figured that if they say they have it, whoever has a real one might actually come out of hiding.
Do we know that, like... Okay,
well,
do we know anything about
Let me put it this way. Imagine, for a moment, that the Mona Lisa got stolen.
No hunger.
By somebody who has
no
5
flags.
other copies of the Mona Lisa.
It's easy if you try.
I know several people did during this time period. But imagine you wanted to steal the Mona Lisa
All
and
people.
sell it to the highest bidder.
Sure.
You had 5 potential bidders. Somehow say you got, I don't know, H.G. Wells to actually build you a time machine. You went back and had Leonardo paint a few more copies of the Mona Lisa, but keep them secretly hidden away somewhere.
Now, I want to remind you that your explanation of this, of what's potentially going on here, currently involves a time machine.
Yes.
Hayden's leaning back in the chair, crossing a leg over. He's lighting up another cig. He's enjoying this explanation. No, keep going.
Now, you publicly, well, maybe publicly, privately, steal the original Mona Lisa.
Sure.
Everybody thinks they're bidding for the real one, but you've got a bunch more that were painted by Leonardo that you're going to sell off instead.
Aren't they then also real Mona Lisas? Like they're copies of the original, but they're copies made by the creator of the original.
Hayden
Semantics.
gestures to Nathaniel and nods like, yeah.
Ashley just listens in and what?
Yeah,
I mean,
Ashley's walking past
Francis
in the hallway
pulls an
and
art
stops.
book.
Huh?
Francis pulls an art book out of his pocket. There are other copies of the Mona Lisa out there that were made by his apprentices.
Yeah, but you didn't say Michelangelo's apprentices. You said Michelangelo.
Yes, but my point still
Or,
stands.
sorry, Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo, not Michelangelo. Leonardo da Vinci.
Are you to
But my
say
The
that
point still stands. If somebody claims they have the real one and another person claims they have the real one, then that person gets the axe, they get the real amulet, and they get to do what they want.
I still don't understand why you would continue with trying to steal something once you know it's fake.
Well,
what if they didn't know it was
Ba-
fake?
yeah, based
I mean,
on
that's one.
based on
That
the
is
time-
one explanation. Yes.
Yeah, Hayden kind of taps a cup on the table and he's like, okay, so based on the timeline, what I think might be happening here is several groups, like individual cells within one group. And it's possible those that interrogated and killed the archaeologist may not have been in contact directly with those doing the theft.
Okay, hold on. In that case, it's less likely to be cells and more just like competition. Multiple people are trying to steal this thing.
Well, to be fair, as far as we're aware, there are 2 groups, because there has been some reports of, let's say, combat between these 2 groups. You've got, what do I call them? The Night Glass or something? Glass Night, something like that. It's in my GM notes. I can't remember. Anyway, the point is, you've got this one group who believes one thing. They believe that this key will open the way to, the original vampire.
When
The
did
other
this
group-
come?
Well, I'm telling you, this actually came up like before. That's what I said. I'm telling you this. That there are 2 groups that are currently fighting, and they both believe essentially the same thing, but from 2 viewpoints. One set thinks this key is going to lead to like the original vampire or something. The other group effectively believes the same thing, but believes that the original vampire is not the one that the others say it is. Don't quote me on this. I think they're arguing over biblical references to either Cain and Abel or Cain and what's her name?
Lilith.
That's the one. Supposedly, these groups can't agree on who they think the original is, and because this is effectively their religion, are prepared to kill each other over it.
I mean, fair, but like, wouldn't acquiring this is a lot. Wouldn't acquiring the this thing that is a key to like that would kind of solve their dispute. They'd know one way or the other, wouldn't they?
Well, yes. However, according to some translations, if this thing even exists, we're talking like end of the world scenario here, because it would be powerful enough to basically wipe out entire countries. Entire cities would be turned instantly.
Now, this is all a part of like the vampire lore, right?
Yes.
Now, what does this have to do with Dracula's?
Same thing.
Oh my god.
We don't know if any of this is true. What we know is that Draculas exist, right? And he kind of gestures like he's making a point of saying it so that you don't start going on about vampires versus Draculas. So that Draculas exist and are more powerful than humans. Now, if there's one that is insanely more powerful, on the off chance that that might be real, we do not want that wandering around. Because us squishy humans like to be alive. Now, whether it's the vampires or the Draculas that kill us, we prefer to not be in that.
Where did What's-His-Face get this fake thing anyway?
Honestly, I would hazard it's likely the architect may have faked it. When we came into information that he used to work for MIT, we looked more into it, and there's a lot of very questionable contents to his lesson plans and times where he was going out doing archaeological digs, and several museums got the same pieces.
Okay, so he says he found this. Where did he say he found it again?
He doesn't actually list, but based on his traveling, we believe he was somewhere around the Middle East, possibly around about Iraq. Does Iraq exist at this time point? I can't remember.
I think you can
That's an interesting question. I don't know. Yeah.
You know what? Here's a weird Google question. Founding of Iraq.
Google. I mean, if you've got a Google worth of questions, voice, like we're going to be here a while.
No,
Oh,
Iraq
shit,
did
we're-
not exist yet.
We are like 2.5 years early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn, because they were officially founded in 1932. Because I wasn't sure if this area was Persia at the time.
Yeah, that would have been
So
my
to
guess.
answer the question, yes,
Yeah.
it would still be Persia at the time.
All right, yeah. So yeah, he's like, well, the traveling was in various areas of Persia, though of course the specifics kind of get very
Mesopotamia
vague.
is what it would.
Got it. No, you're not going to go look for the sands of time because you're too early.
Anyway.
So
Not if we find those sands of times, we won't be.
So yeah, he just basically kind of waves a hand. We're not really sure what specific area within Persia, but somewhere within the region.
Okay, so basically, from what we've gathered, all of this was kind of pointless. Like, we still have no idea where this original artifact is, if it even exists, or who has it. Like, if this guy lied about finding it, then
But
presumably
you know
it's
there are factions that are looking for it, so it's still.
I mean, true.
dangerous.
There's factions looking for the Holy Grail. Like, it's.
Yes, but these factions.
Is there any reason to
are
indicate they're closer to finding it
Draculas.
now than they were at any point in the last 1,000 years?
That's not the point. The point is the fact that they are Draculas that are looking for it.
No, like, as far as worrying about them finding this thing, like, is there any reason to think they're closer to finding it now than at any point in the last 1,000 years?
Well, considering 1,000 years ago you couldn't cross the ocean within a week.
Okay, let me rephrase then. The last 20 years.
20 years ago you couldn't fly.
You still can't fly if you want to cross the ocean. Like, there's maybe 1 or 2 people in the world that can do that.
There are ways. The point is, the world is slowly becoming a much smaller place.
Okay, but like
I understand your point.
yeah. My point of like, there's I don't see a sense of urgency here. We found out about this thing that's existed for thousands of years and has not harmed anyone. Shrug.
That we know of.
But now everybody's harming each other over it.
I mean, is there any reason why there? Because like this all happened because apparently some guy lied about finding it. Now, like, if he had found it, or something like that, then yeah, we should definitely be concerned. But like, this is like finding this. This is like us getting into a fight about like what to do when contacting aliens, because a guy lied about contacting aliens, and we're like, yes, but aliens might still be out there. And it's like, well, yes, that's true. That's always been true. It doesn't really, the fact that one guy lied about it hasn't really like changed anything or advanced any sort of timetable or.
To be fair, one of the major problems with this is
now who am I talking to?
If he has faked Hayden, if he has faked the artifact, and if he has made this himself, how did he know what the original looks like?
Now that's an interesting question. Was that anywhere in his notes?
Not that we're aware of.
Then it looks like we gotta go find him
Do
again.
we have reason to think now?
However, the other downside of this is these groups may decide to openly fight each other for the artifact that they believe is kicking around more openly. And one of our primary mandates is to ensure that these things stay in the shadows. Because we cannot have the entire world become aware of something like this overnight.
Fair. Yeah.
Part
all
of
right.
our aim is to safeguard people's ability to sleep at night. We don't want to keep the world exactly as it is, but we don't want everything to immediately fall off a cliff into the shit.
You're speaking my language. And I suppose that's fair, although, like, I don't know, this still just kind of seems like a problem where if we do nothing, it will solve itself.
Unless they, in fact, go into open warfare about it.
I mean, they're going into open warfare about something that, for all they know, doesn't really exist. Like, they're going to war with something that definitely doesn't exist because it's a fake.
But to get something this supposedly
like if we just
close,
publish a couple, like can we just get some academics to publish a few articles about like how it was recently discovered that this, and so like basically just publish what Francis found. Like convincing evidence that the professor lied and this was a fake.
It's a possibility.
Well, that would also be revealing that there was, in fact, a giant-ass break-in at the island.
No. Presumably, he announced that he found this thing.
Fair.
To be fair, Harrison was somewhat, what's the word? He was somewhat secretive about his personal collection. The things in the gallery he was quite open about.
You don't put something like that in an open case in a glass vault.
Unless it is fake.
The point is, he was very private about some of his collection. He may have announced some of these. He may have been pictured with them. We're not entirely sure. But
where Francis, that picture of it that you're looking at, where did you get that?
Where did we get this picture? Because I knew it existed.
Was a brochure.
You lifted it. You lifted it from his office.
Yeah.
Like he gave you the picture because he had it, like it was on the table. Because the theory is that he went around wearing this amulet because he thought this was like so amazing and cool. And he had a picture of it that, as far as you know, is the amulet he was wearing.
Yes.
All right.
That's kind of the whole thing. But yeah, it's because you specifically, Francis, got that picture and did not give it back.
Vinny, what are your thoughts on all this?
Being that the player was AFK while you're having probably most of these conversations.
Eve.
Oops. Give me a yes answer, man.
Just trying to figure out, like, what, if anything, should be done about this whole artifact thing, because apparently the artifact isn't real. And
But the real one
whoever
might
tried
still
to
be floating
steal
around
it-
somewhere.
Well, Hayden's gonna lead forward and basically say a third option that we have is to just wait currently and see what occurs.
In the
Well,
meantime,
we've
what
got-
do we do about the kid?
I mean, that Francis
So
pulls out
if
some more
he
newspapers.
doesn't get any more, if he does not get any more Dracula blood, what happens?
We don't know.
Like, does he stop being a Dracula? Does he recover? Or
Does he just straight up die?
yeah,
How much of his soul is lost to the fact that he is partially turned?
We've never dealt with one partially turned that we were inclined to allow observation.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We used to
Generally, we
just-
have a kill on sight rule.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Alright.
I would like to avoid that line of thought for now. But
Squeamish.
It's a
The
kid.
interesting thing is, in this case, it would be kill, because according to you, since he's not fully a Dracula, he's not fully dead.
yeah, he's only mostly dead.
Well, as I say, from the research, it suggests that, you know, let's call it humanity. Your humanity is slowly overtaken by this urge to feed, let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, as far as we know, admittedly, we have not researched fully into it because I personally have a kill them all on sight approach.
After
I don't want to suffer them to live.
After they
point
took a
is-
chunk out of my neck, I kind of feel the same way.
Yes. The point is, we don't fully know. Now, if you want to find out, we can reinforce an observation run.
A kidnapping as opposed to an assassination. That poses additional risks and difficulty.
And yet you were
That-
talking
that's why
about it
I'm-
the other day with Elle, saying that you were going to kidnap the kid and use it as leverage against Dexter.
That's also true.
You were
But
going
Elle
to
was there.
what?
That's also true. But Elle was there, and as Elle pointed out, they and Nathaniel were the two people most likely to pull this off.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you're going to go and kidnap the kid, you're on your own. I draw the line at kidnapping. Murder, maim, potential arson, desecration of a corpse, sure. Kidnapping, no.
That's very interesting, considering desecration of a corpse will get you a lot of problems in several parts of the world. And
Including here.
I'm not just talking about mortal laws.
I'm aware.
All right then. Killing him it is.
So-
Francis,
No.
you have to. Francis, like, hands you a wooden stake and a mallet. You're gonna have to be the one to deal the killing blow, though.
Okay, I'm going to start with you. You're
You're gonna
clearly
take such a
guilty.
hard stance against kidnapping. You say you're fine with murder. Okay, then you're gonna have to be the one to do it.
Yeah, Francis just puts the stake and the mallet. Where the hell did you even keep that?
I always keep some on hand. Ever since we found out there were Draculas involved. You haven't?
I literally have a silvered cane. He says, tapping his cane against the floor, and the sword pops out.
Hayden,
The funny thing is,
are
right,
Draculas hurt by silver?
depends on the breed. It's kind of funny because as he's saying that, he lifts his jacket open, he pulls out what looks like a cigar case, but then when he opens it, it has like 5 different materials of stakes in it. And shows it to Francis.
Well,
And it snaps it
is
shut
that a
and puts it
steak made
back.
out of? Is that a steak made out of radium?
No. You think I'd be
Okay, so
stupid
why
enough
is
to
it-
keep radium that close to my heart?
Okay, so why is it glowing?
It's an inlay pattern.
Ah.
Anyway, chewing gum?
No thanks.
Thank you.
Are you
You sound like you could use a throat lozenge.
I've got my own.
Radical brand
I think-
throat lozenge?
I think you should take
cocaine.
one. Yes. The 1920s when all medical concerns were just to add ghoul.
Well, radium would still be popular up through the 50s.
Yeah, but you're talking to people that actually know what it does.
True. True.
Radium
We-
gets
we
used
are the-
today. I mean, radium will still be used over 100 years from now. Just, by people who know how it works and how to use it and handle it safely.
And not licking their brushes. I'm sure radium must have tasted great.
Well, there's a quick way to find out. Gum?
No.
So I'm just picturing this like massive government agent grabbing small university lecturer by the throat and shoving gum back his mouth. Let's find out.
No, because there are people who do know how dangerous radium is, but the FDA hasn't been invented yet.
No,
Or
it
maybe
does
you
exist.
think they're
It just
not.
has no, actual legal power.
When do they gain that?
soon?
Shortly after people's jaws start falling off.
About 5 years.
Yeah, so get chewing. You can speed it up.
Yeah, no thanks. Formed 1901, became properly the FDA in 1906. Didn't get any real agency until 1930s.
Yep.
Jeez, for still a year off.
Yep. Because it's only January of 1929 now.
Yep.
I swear, you guys advance the clock every session.
No.
No.
No,
we haven't.
Yeah, I
it's
am.
been January for like 2 sessions now.
No. I remember it being 28th.
Yeah, it was new.
That was
The party
late,
was a
okay.
New Year's party.
Mhm.
It was 1928 when you started the party.
All right.
I feel like you missed that very important detail.
What was that, Vinny?
We were
Yeah,
partying
sorry.
for an entire year?
There's always one.
It was absolutely crazy.
But look, if you want to kidnap the kid and keep him under observation, fine. I'm not going to help you kidnap the kid.
All right,
Suddenly
then.
He's on,
Hands
he's on the
you the wooden stake and the mallet. Francis, you're not getting it. You're going to be helping one way or another. You're helping with a murder or a kidnapping. The choice is yours.
Francis sighs.
By the way, it's going to be a fun time.
You know,
Francis sighs. He leaves. He comes back with a calendar on his head and more business
Francis,
cards.
I have a question for you. If you
I might have an
kidnap
answer.
the kid, there is an opportunity that you could save the kid. from being a
That-
vampire.
That I'd be willing to try. Because that is academic study.
There you go.
Also involves kidnapping.
You're still
And you
welcome.
said you draw the line.
You can also publish this as a case study. Like, people are still letting their kids walk home miles completely unescorted through
Uphill,
dangerous
both ways,
neighborhoods.
barefoot,
Like,
backwards in the snow.
these are years of free-range children. Later, you can publish this as a case study of why there needs to be more concern done about where children are.
Oh boy.
It's
Exactly.
11
This is-
p.m. Do you know
Yes,
where your
this is
children
the
are?
Forerunner. It's the forerunner to that.
For the last time, no! I'm making a Simpsons reference.
Alright.
So Francis, as Nathaniel says, so Francis, murder or kidnapping? Final answer.
Francis sighs, leaves, comes back with his
No,
Pastafarian garb.
you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to fuck off with your Rastafarian.
That's how I ran the distraction last time!
This is true.
Very well.
That is, in fact, how it was surprisingly effective.
Hayden, I believe I will start working on getting the cell ready.
So we'll take a few days to get the cell ready, which will also give Elle enough time to come back.
What are you gonna do in between then? You got
We're going to look. I want to look into more of these murders that happened while we were at the house.
We need to figure out, well, okay, realistically what we need to do is come up with some kind of plan to try and sneak. Like, the best option, clearly, is to sneak in during the day and just, leave with the kid in the box.
Yes.
The issue is how we sneak out with,
Without being seen.
carrying what is functionally a child-sized coffin between us.
Well, Vinny, what do you
That's
have?
what we
Do you
need to
have
figure out.
anything to think about on this?
Albeit the way you're phrasing this is kind of extremely awkward. Yeah, I get it that we're talking about a Dracula here, but is it 100% confirmed? Or are we going on a lot of assumptions here, guys?
I mean, it was sleeping in a coffin.
Uh-huh.
We have the
and there was
notes.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of notes basically confirming this. Hayden, is there any kind of tests you can do with blood to determine if it's vampire blood? We know the blood is supernatural. It like turns translucent in mirrors. We know that much.
You have the notebook.
Francis literally leaves, comes back with all the shit.
Well, specifically the notebook for the blood.
Francis rifles through it, deals it out like a deck of cards.
Okay, we pick it up, we shuffle it, we throw it back. Right, play 582 page pickup. Yeah, give me the damn
Easy.
book.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so he'll take the book and have a flick through it, and then hand it back over. Have you looked into that in detail?
I can look at it in more detail. He takes out a magnifying glass.
You won't need that. You're not really a medical person, are you, Francis?
I am not.
The general just seems to be monitoring how the infection is progressing.
Yes, because we know the kid was sick beforehand and they just infected him with more stuff.
Yeah, see, when you look at the book, there's a lot of medical jargon that's been shorthanded. So I mean, we've all seen Dr. Scrawl before, right?
Yes.
So it's that, but in shorthand. So it reads honestly like you just face rolled on a keyboard.
Ouch.
appears
Is that
to
an
be
L? I think it's a U.
No, it looks like a Q. Could be a C. Actually, no, it's a J.
So chances are he's still human enough.
Then he
There
could
is
be
every
saved?
possibility. There is every possibility that it can be turned around. It depends what medications the infection responds to. We are quite well stocked.
Well then, let's experiment a little. And then we can experiment a lot. The Geneva Conventions haven't happened yet. World War I hasn't
It has, like,
Oh yeah.
It literally
It's
has.
been
Not with
World-
that
14 to
attitude.
14 to 19, my guy.
Right. The Geneva
okay,
Conventions haven't made it
let's
to
also
America yet.
understand, though, absolutely none of what we are discussing is legal in any sense. So,
forget
Not even
war
remotely
crimes.
close.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's against the Geneva Convention. It is 100% illegal in America.
Right.
now that's never stopped the boy before, and it won't going forward. But
That is also true.
just be aware we can't get caught.
Which has never stopped the boy before.
We just never stopped the boy before. I was like, no, that's what presidential pardons are for. But let's hope it doesn't reach that point.
That is a great response. That's what presidential pardons are for.
I mean, for the time period, he's not wrong.
There's only one problem.
That's my point.
You're talking about a cabinet member's kid.
Yeah, and then we've got blackmail if things go wrong.
I mean, okay, so here's the first thing we do. Once we have the kid, the first thing we do is gather as much evidence as possible that he is a vampire, and we can sort of hold that over Mr. What's-His-Face's head if he does find out and somehow traces this back to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say if he finds out. He's going to find out. He will definitely notice that his son is missing.
Yeah.
The issue is tracing it back to us.
I mean, it is doable.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. All right, so how many guards were at the front when I was there?
2. And then
And how many
one-
guards were inside while I was there?
1.
And how many guards were in the back while I was there? How many guards total? Let me rephrase all this.
3. Unless
Okay,
you stayed long enough to be 7:30. When it was 7:30, you could count a total of 8.
No, I would not have stayed there. All right, so 3 guards, 2 outside, 1 inside. Outside are easy enough to deal with any number of distractions, like gesturing towards Francis. It's the one inside that's the problem, because it's really hard to miss 2 people carrying a coffin.
Yeah. To be fair, because of the years you've worked as a government agent, and you know the layout of the place, you would roughly wager that 8 would be the standard when the client is on site. So when Dexter is there, 8 is how many you would expect normal. And then
These are Secret Service agents, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, no. Like, it is theoretically possible to use bribery, but it would require so much money and have so much, like, chances of things going wrong. How do we deal with the one that's inside? Well, I'd like to not kill him. Like, I don't want to kill a man for doing his job.
To be fair, if you wish to engage someone in combat and beat them, I personally only consider like taking someone down to 0 HP as being KO'd. If you kill them, if you state you are killing them, then you kill them. If you state you're knocking them out, then that's what you're doing. You know, I'm not going to screw you and be like, oh, you grabbed the thing and you bow him over the head, and oh, turns out he had an aneurysm and died. No. If you want to KO a guy, you pass your check, you KO him.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we could, like, consistently KO somebody before they had a chance to alert the two outside. So, like, I don't know how loud or distracting you can possibly be, Francis, but...
I mean, I could go and wear full Pastafarian garb. It's very colorful.
Yeah.
Hayden kind of makes the little cough and says, is that necessarily a smart idea considering you were already there doing that?
Good point. They already know me.
They may not
Crap.
take kindly to it a second time.
I mean, I did convert two of them.
They may have been changed out. I'm just saying it might be a bad idea to try and run the same distraction twice in a row.
Fair enough.
Can I try and call in a few favors with the boy and find out, like, what the schedule is for people being assigned to that particular duty?
You could.
It would be a big favor.
Yeah. I said I'm mostly just like sort of thinking out loud, but I'm like no. Like trying to replace the guard with myself or someone else. Like the kid gets kidnapped while that person is on guard. Like they are immediately like everybody who works there is going to be interrogated very strictly.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
Everyone will be
Vinny?
interrogated.
Yeah. How confident are you in your ability to subdue a well-armed person quietly?
I am not.
I was not addressing you, Francis.
Oh. Well, I was clearly not paying attention.
This was a question for Vinny.
Can you phrase your question again, please? I'm sorry.
How confident are you in your ability to quietly subdue a well-armed man quickly?
I am not my days in the my days as a officer are slightly behind me. I mean, I'm decent enough, but that's not my specialty by any means.
I mean, we could just trank people. That's always an option.
Tranquilizers. Well, I suppose voices. Are you running tranquilizers the way they work in the real world, where it could be minutes before there's any effect?
Yes.
Okay.
Tranks do not act instantly.
Okay, so now I have another question. Can we get the property listing? Is there a well?
Can we get the what?
Property information. Is there a well?
Oh, property information. Okay.
A well?
The answer would probably be yes for the time.
Yeah, there would be a well there.
Because if they've got well water, we can taint it.
You also do know that there is a fountain there. For sure. But yes, there is a well water.
I mean, that just seems like the tranquilizing thing, but worse. Because there's no guarantee that whoever's on, watch would drink the water. And, like, we have no idea how long it would take for whatever we drugged to work its way through the system. Like, it could be a week later before anybody starts noticing any effects.
Fair.
And I'm just picturing that right now the camera cuts over to the location and you see every single guard standing around the well with a glass in hand going, "Cheers to a good shift, glug, glug, glug." Right, let's go to work. And then it immediately cuts back to everyone scratching their head like, "Nah, that's not going to work. It's like the worst idea."
We're all like yelling and berating Francis. Like,
Yeah.
Everybody's beating him with newspapers and whatnot. Bad, Francis, bad! Bad Flake!
It was a bad idea. No.
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, to be fair, there are situations where 100% that'd be a great idea. This, unfortunately, for 1929, it's not that great an idea, considering there's a lot of ways to get water to a place. If this was out in the middle of nowhere, like, at the George Manor or something, then 100% this could definitely work.
Was this? So, okay, this manor, it's kind of out in the middle of... It's not in the middle of nowhere, but it's fairly, like, separated from its neighbors.
It is fairly separated from the neighbors, yes.
Okay, yeah, no, so we can't, like, hire a kid to be a distraction in the back.
I mean, we could go hire some orphans to go across the place.
No, I was just, because the big thing is that no alarm ever gets sounded. Like, nobody thinks anything unusual is happening. And I was like, okay, if they have, like, very close by neighbors, we could, like, hire a kid to, like, come up, "Hey, I lost my ball over the fence," and that, but no, that would just be strange.
I have an idea, but let me check it out first.
Was there a skylight there?
There's no way you're getting a gyrocopter over there without being seen either.
I was thinking more a hot air balloon, but my original question: is there a skylight?
Oh.
Look. This is the Sherlock Holmes of brainstorming plans. Once you've eliminated the easy and obvious solutions, whatever else you can come up with, no matter how outlandish.
I am 100% in favor of Nathaniel ziplining down and then Mission Impossible his way down to grab the box and then call up, like wiggle the rope, and that tells Francis to turn the heat up, and then you just like casually float away with the box.
No, it's a hot air balloon. It would be run on gas. I'd be turning the gas up.
Okay, but when you turn the thing, the flame gets bigger. There's more heat. Ergo, you turn the flame up.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is like, was there a skylight? Let me go back to this question. Was there a skylight?
Yes, there was.
Okay,
In the
you got a
center,
skylight.
but not in that one room.
Obviously. Yeah, no, that'd be terrible design decision for where to put the vampire child.
Yeah, there was a skylight.
Okay. So that potentially gives us another route of ingress.
Also, there's something that I want to bring up that you guys, I'm surprised you didn't bring it up, but Girl Scout cookies.
Oh yeah, they'd be new at the time.
Surprised we didn't bring up Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, because they'd be
Francis
fresh.
says it all the time. So yeah.
No, I do Avon calling.
Avon calling. So, but there is a possibility.
Avon, Girl Scouts, they're practically the same thing.
Honestly, yeah. They come unsolicited. They bring you stuff you don't really need, but you really, really want it.
Girl Scouts started in 1917.
I'm not disputing that they exist, although I don't know if they're going door to door selling cookies at this point in time.
They are.
Just that we
They
already
officially started selling cookies at
have a
17.
distraction. We already have a distraction.
Girl Scout
plan.
cookie recipe was 1922.
We already have a distraction plan for the front door. Like, we don't. Yeah, no, I don't see the thing there. Like, okay, maybe if we tried to like drug the cookies, but there's no guarantee that they would all eat the cookies, and if even one of them didn't, and noticed the others passing out.
Yeah, I mean, what's to say that whichever guard ends up getting the cookies, he doesn't just immediately scarf them down?
And then dies. Because he took way
screw
too much.
everyone else.
He took way too much poison at once. Yeah.
You know what? That's fair. We could get an Avon salesman, though.
Again, we like the distraction for the guys at the front is not the issue. The issue is the guy that's inside.
You know what? Touche.
What about
Singing Telegram?
No, because they just get shot.
Okay, I'm just gonna like I take out a Nathaniel. Like Nathaniel looks around like, hey, do you have like a piece of paper?
I mean, you guys could do the door-to-door salesman. That's for sure.
Nathaniel, Ashley, do either of you have a piece of paper?
I put on a big
course.
nose and glasses and say,
Okay, great.
I'm going
Thank you,
around
thank
selling
you. I take the
blushes,
piece of
trying to
paper.
make my way through
I
cottage.
take the piece of paper and I write on it, the problem is not distracting the guards outside. I then tape it to the wall, and I'm just going to point at it.
I love it.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Ow.
All right, so far, we haven't really had any ideas that... Okay, when I was there, the internal guard, was he mostly staying to the first floor, or was he occasionally working his way through the upper floor as well? Like, obviously, they're not going to send him into the laboratory or the room with the kid.
When you
but
were there, he would go around to the different floors, and he had a set time that he did it. So it was kind of clockwork that when he did it, almost.
All right, based
you
on
weren't there
now-
long enough to know the set time, but you do.
Okay.
But it did kind of feel like it was methodical.
He was following some kind of pattern. Yeah.
Keep in mind, you can 100% case the building.
Without a problem.
Yeah, we could spend a few days doing that, I guess.
I mean, wasn't that what we were doing last time?
No, you actually went inside. That was a little different.
No, but like we went there originally to case the place,
And you
and
did.
then when I
Yeah, we
realized
kind
that
of-
there were only like
yeah,
two
but
or
we were
three
only
guards,
paying
I was
attention to
like,
the
okay, I
guards.
can sneak in. Like,
Yeah.
All right, you know what?
you know what? That's fair though. We can spend a
Considering-
day. What?
Considering yes, you spent some time outside watching the stuff. You can make the educated guess that it was about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the guard, for how long they took to basically patrol around the exterior of the building. The guard shift, like they appeared to basically switch, like one person would go in to take over from the guard inside who would come out. And give or take, you would wager, based on that, it should be about half of that time for them to do a patrol of the inside of the building. Though you're not 100% sure on just how in-depth they were. Other than
they're
you
obviously
could
they're
basically
not going to send
wager.
them into the laboratory or the room with the kid. Like those rooms would be guaranteed to be off limits, but I don't know about the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Because
So,
unfortunately, you weren't inside for long enough to be able to gauge that, though.
all right, Francis,
Yes.
what actually do you teach?
Languages, literacy.
Dude,
Latin,
you're MIT, you're not
literacy
doing literacy
At a university level?
You're not doing literacy.
Francis takes out a Latin textbook. Okay, read this.
No, okay,
Keeping in mind, this is a
languages,
time where
yes.
he might actually be
Latin,
taught.
yes. But like, all right. No, so I suppose my question is like, what university do you teach at again? It's
This
been
one?
a while. Which
MIT.
is MIT. Okay. Does MIT have like a chemistry department?
Yeah,
At least now.
They do, yes.
Okay.
it was one of their
All
first.
right,
It was one of their first programs.
Okay. I hate to say this, but like, can we get some ether or chloroform?
Oh, you got to get them to smell your hanky.
Yeah, well, it's looking like we're gonna have to get this.
You can literally buy chloroform at the drugstore still.
All right.
Like, it's still legal for them to sell it without a good reason.
Hayden
Okay,
does sort of
so-
mention if you require chemicals, I can put you in touch with Hugh Allen of the chemistry department.
All right, I'm thinking we have one person or group point at the the issue of resolving the point at the issue of resolving distracting the guards outside, and then with myself, Vinny, and hopefully Al if they're back, from wherever the hell they are by then. The three of us might be able to just like overpower the internal guard and knock him out with the ether / chloroform.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a plan.
Now, here's a question for you, Nathaniel. Are you trained to resist druggings?
Me personally,
Yes.
druggings, no. Well, it depends on the drug. I can resist sodium pentothal quite well.
How likely is a guard to be trained to resist a drugging?
I'm not sure how feasible it is to train to resist stuff like ether or chloroform. I mean, supposedly, I guess anything you could potentially build up an immunity to it, maybe?
But why?
I don't know. Some
Well, it's a good-
things
it's a
you
good thing
can
to plan
eventually build
for
up immunity to. Some you will kill yourself trying.
Yeah, because L's in real life, L's player would say that this idea is bullshit. Honestly, the character would probably say that idea is bullshit.
Look, if you shoot yourself with 22s, eventually you'll survive with 50. You'll build up a tolerance to bullets.
You keep trying to say that
I mean,
to me.
there was that one campaign, there was that one
What?
where a certain somebody, we were joking, was slowly building up an immunity to explosions.
Thanks,
Was-
loads. Only
Definitely not
because-
Cain.
Oh, you could be
Also-
there, by the way, Cain. You could be listening
Oh,
in
can
on
I?
this conversation. Yes. You could be there. You could
Yeah,
talk
you're,
there.
we're
I'm-
presently planning a kidnapping of a 16-year-old vampire.
Okay, are you doing it inside the archive?
Yes, they are.
Planning? Yes. No, we're doing it in public. As loud as we can.
Cain is just gonna walk by with a crowbar.
What is the crowbar for, Cain? Ashley says.
Oh, knocking shit out.
Not prying and jimmying?
Nah, knock people out.
Francis will be like, okay, so, Nathaniel, are your people trained to resist that?
I mean, I don't think anyone really can be, but I do think that using like ether or chloroform is probably going to be quieter than hitting somebody over the head to knock them out, because you're really banking on that first hit completely knocking them unconscious.
Yes, and causing some.
It's either that or I stab him, one of the two.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not enough to just like.
I mean, you guys are talking all.
One, we don't want to kill this man, but even assuming we are careful, there's also the issue of just that, like, we don't want to alert the guards up front. Although, I suppose, theoretically, if there are enough of us, we could just try and jump the three of them. But that runs significantly more risks because I'm working on the assumption they are all armed.
Which they almost certainly are.
I'll still knock them out.
Well, we're not doing it tonight.
Party pooper.
But, so, we've discovered a teenage Dracula. We've discovered a potential Sasquatch.
Wait. Hold on. Is it actual Dracula or just a vampire?
Somebody's kid being partially converted into a vampire, presently known as a ghoul.
It's a Dracula.
So,
Half
not
Dracula.
actual Dracula.
Half Dracula.
Yeah, we've been having this argument, vampire Dracula with Nathaniel for the last week.
It's not actual Dracula, then.
It's also a teenager. We're going to try and fix the problem.
I mean, I don't know if you could technically fix it unless you killed the siren vampire first. I could be wrong. Bear in mind, I'm just going off assumption here.
We're going off a lot of assumption tonight.
Oh, well, fuck it then. I'm going to go to the library.
We also found a Sasquatch, potentially.
Wait, what? I just imagine Cain walk off. It's like, we found a potential Sasquatch. Motherfucker, what?
No, it's not a Sasquatch. Like I said, they're all dead.
God damn it!
Well, it's big, it's hairy, it's got big feet. What do you call that?
You missed your chance, Cain.
Yeah, I mean, that just sounds like Big Jimmy.
It does.
Also known as Big D.
It does sound like Big Jimmy.
I'll give you 2 guesses as to what the D stands for.
No, thank you.
Doormat, come on.
Yeah, you've missed so much fun.
Oh, yeah, Yeah, sure. I miss a lot of fun, yet I'm the one who's gone hunting mostly.
Hey, you've got your girlfriend.
No, that's not it. Cain's gonna look directly toward Hayden's office, because somebody keeps sending me on missions.
Hayden, who's sitting across the table from the door that you're standing at,
Oh shit! I didn't know he was.
just kind of shrugs. What do you want? I will not endure not only the wrath of Ashley, which I happily endure. I will not add the ire.
Ashley looks right at
of Miss Taylor. Yeah, he specifically does not meet that look to Ashley. He continues looking at Cain. I will not add the ire of Miss Taylor to the ire of Ashley.
I mean, she does get pretty nasty when she's mad.
Then he looks
The
at
shopkeeper's
Ashley.
last name is Taylor?
Yes, Cara Taylor.
Hey.
He then looks at Ashley and says, "Do you want to kill him or will I?"
She just laughs. Oh, she just laughs.
Hayden just has a chuckle at that.
As far as your Sin Slayer, as you were talking about, the Sasquatch, whatever you're calling it, you could give information about it to him.
Wait. Hold on a minute. You guys saw the feet?
Well, they got a picture of it, I think.
What does it look like? Let me see.
I defer to Vinny while the player goes AFK and Francis T-poses for dominance.
Because what from what?
On PC now.
Alright, so...
Yeah,
then-
in the notes, somewhere is the picture that the sketch artist drew that the old lady had.
I know how to zoom out.
Which is the inference there for the GM to describe what was on that picture.
As I said before, and he hasn't been here.
I was not here for that, so
Right. The picture is looking through a window, okay? There is a big tree, and then there is this creature with a lot of fur, except on the face, and big shoes that look like they're hunched up, like in heel form. Considered them clown shoes per se. But the body is made of fur. It's wearing, though, a coat. And on the other side, on the other part of it, you see a wall with what seems like a door.
yeah, that's not a Bigfoot. I refuse. If that is, I refuse to believe it is.
I'm back.
Well, maybe Vinny knows more about it because he was there. You want to explain, Vinny, what it looked like? Or
Give
what?
me like 5 because I'm also making dinner.
Okay. Yeah, when you come back, I'll describe for you.
Yep.
Details on your sin slayer, as it were. Personally,
Okay, that you would have been given information about that as well. Probably right after. You do know the following people have some connection in the murders. You know that Dr. Nameless, who was killed, is on the list, and they found the symbol for greed on his back.
yeah, that's the other professor, right?
Dr. Nameless, no, was a pharma boss.
Oh, fair enough.
A doctor. Kinda
Who was killed at the radio station?
No. The one who was killed at the radio station was Caleb Waite. Because he had pride on his back. And, then you heard that there was Maxine, who was found at the scene at the castle. When Ashley and their guys did a sweep, and she had lust on her back. And then, you know that Ashley had to go to her house and get her stuff because Elle was worried that she was probably on the list. And you then found out, or Vinny found out when reading the newspaper, that Melanie Schumer, the one he was around the whole time, was killed and they didn't say much
of the details in the actual paper.
So, looks like we're looking for a trip to the morgue.
But Elle and Ashley could tell you, yeah, but Linda had something to say about it. She said she had her face in a pie. I don't know.
Face in a pie.
Yeah, her.
And she know this because
face down in a pie.
Like she was smothered in the pie?
Could be.
Do they know what symbol was burned into her back?
No.
Or could
No.
it have been a completely unrelated murder?
Nobody's checked on that yet.
Then I think we're looking for a trip to the morgue tonight, while Nathaniel scouts out the house some more. Also, Nathaniel, where would we get a hot air balloon?
Throwing out ideas. Just throwing out ideas.
Murphy's on 19th.
Yeah, exactly. They do hot air balloon rentals. You just got to know who to ask.
Yes, but if you rent a hot air balloon, the rental can be traced back to you. They keep a paper trail just in case somebody like us comes through to try to pull ice.
What are they going to do, Francis? Are they going to read your license plate? Do hot air balloons have identifying marks on them? See, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about it.
You still gotta put a name and an address on a rental form.
How are you going to know where it was rented from? How are you going to know that it was rented? Maybe it's privately owned.
You know what? That's fair.
Plus, you'd be sneaky. You're being sneaky about it. I mean, unless you're intending on, adding like 12 anvils to the side, float above the house, cut the gas, wait for the thing to just slam down on the house and smash in through the window.
Fair enough.
So we don't know anything about Melanie, but Linda did have some
insight.
However, it was kind of scary that she was at my house.
We should take her in for questioning. Put her in a cell. See if she dies.
Why would you do that?
If she was at your house mysteriously. Was she in it when you got there?
No, she was outside, as if she was waiting for me to come home or something. It was really weird.
Francis does the finger in the air thing, balls it into a fist, and says, "You do realize that qualifies as suspicious, right?"
I'm back for the time being.
Well, I did say it was really weird.
Yeah, why didn't you bring her in?
She was my friend, and she didn't do anything to me.
Yeah, Francis, why would we randomly citizens arrest people on the street for visiting their friend's home?
Well, she was my friend at one time. Kind of.
Was it? Maybe should it doesn't matter. The point is, random person on the street visiting an acquaintance.
To tell them that their friend was found face down dead in a pie.
People gossip. What part of this is questionable enough that arrest should be made?
I suppose that's fair enough. I see conspiracy everywhere.
Maybe that's a you problem.
It is. Anyway, explain this sin slayer, as you put it, Vinny.
Okay. Where was this? You want the physical description given by the lady, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The physical description we got from what the lady saw was a large man-sized shape that was roughly, I look at my notes here, it was roughly about 9 feet, according to what she was saying, that the body was covered in hair from top to bottom, with exception to the facial features. The facial features, she said, were in like humanish origin, but the distance was far enough away. When I measured the distance, it was from approximately, I didn't have a ruler with me, but 453 feet. I stood out at the location and kept, got a couple of boxes, and I had to stand on them before I achieved the height she said she saw of the thing. From what I can tell, based on the evidence where it came off, it was up in a third floor apartment area, jumped out of that third floor straight down to the ground. I checked the ground surface as far as the pavement, as far as for weight of impact, as far as depth and whatnot, and there was quite a severe impact. So whatever fell on that thing was heavy, as well as from the distance, from a person like yourself or myself, we wouldn't leave much of an impact, but this thing did. So whatever fell was big and heavy enough to do so. The feet prints were roughly, holds out his hands to kind of simulate like a large, like exaggerated shoe size, as far as like how big it was. It was roughly about that size here. I have an exact measurement in my notes I took at the scene. There was sadly, when I looked and talked to a couple other neighbors in the area, they all seemed to confirm that this was not just a one-off, lady saw something and was off her gourd, but there were some follow-ups that were all confirmed to sight. So whatever this thing that we're dealing with is big and hairy and inspires imagery, at least for myself, albeit from an uneducated point of view compared to yourself, of like looks at his notepad again, werewolves, Bigfoot, and Tiny Larry over on 7th Street.
Well, I can go ahead and take off the werewolf for you. It's not that.
If I may ask, how do you know that?
Well, werewolves typically don't have, how would I put it? Typically run off instinct, from what I've experienced at least, hunting them.
Are they usually that size, or are they much smaller?
Depends. Don't think I've ever ran into a 9-foot one.
Hayden coughs, turns his head, and kind of gestures.
I haven't had any furries Chronos then, have you? But
see, Hayden coughs for attention, turns his head and gestures the kind of snout shape. I'd imagine there would be another detail there were it a werewolf.
Yeah, that too.
Not to mention, didn't you say he shot the boy? Shot the guy?
Like I said, werewolves are more instinct. They don't really tend to use weapons other than just biting the hell out of something in claws.
True, unless they like to walk on glass.
Doubt that.
And point to any of you that actually got that joke.
Oh, I got it.
Was it?
Yeah, well, not all of us are like super balls
It's
deep.
It's from Werewolf the Apocalypse. So yeah.
I still wonder how Die Hard came into your mind, though.
That's actually an interesting point.
I shall draw you a flow chart later.
So Vinny's been called. We're gonna say he
To
was,
the mark.
No, we're gonna say that he was called to his friend Pat Beach, as he would find out more information about those hooves due to the fact that he asked about police officers and and their
Yeah,
horses.
he's gonna go detect some shit.
Yeah, he's gonna go and talk to him and find out more about that. So that leaves you 2 to the morgue. 3 to the morgue.
If Cain sticks around.
Yeah.
If it comes down to just 2 of us, I'd say we call the episode here.
Yeah, we can do that. Or actually,
But
no,
we'll
I have
see if Cain
something
comes
I
back.
need to do with Nathaniel.
Oh boy.
If you guys decide to call it.
Apples.
And radium.
The answer is apples. Whatever it is you want to do with Nathaniel.
So what you're saying is the answer is radium. Got it.
No. What he's saying is the answer is get in the barrel with the water and the apples.
Ah, we're bobbing. Got it.
Bobbing for apples.
Yes, like shockingly there, Francis, that's something relating to apples.
Have you ever watched a raccoon wash its own apples?
No, because I'm not into weird stuff like you. God. So you with your nature documentaries.
They haven't been invented yet.
Nature documentary. Just do air quotes to say nature documentaries.
Yes.
Oh, look, the Animal Planet. I love a nature documentary.
Uh-huh. Slowly backing out.
Be not afraid. Do not misunderstand my insanity.
We could definitely understand your insanity.
Do you though? Do you?
Yes.
I mean, the real question is, do we want to? That's the real question.
That's the better question, yes. Do you want to understand my insanity? Do you really?
Do we?
I don't know. Do you?
Do you really?
Not really want to know your insanity, because I think I would lose my sanity.
Did you ever really have it?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Because I enjoy the voices in my head sometimes.
That is frightening.
Well, they're not telling me to kill people.
Hey,
That's the good news.
No, they're just telling you to kidnap people.
No, those voices points to Nathaniel is telling me to kidnap people.
They're telling. No, you wanted me to arrest Linda for just because she was at my house.
And knew about a murder. When was the last time you talked to her?
2 days earlier.
Yeah?
Why are you no longer friends?
I don't know why we're no longer friends. She just kind of, I don't know, we kind of fell away.
I'd still be suspicious personally, but I'm a very suspicious person who sees conspiracy and connections everywhere.
That to say you're definitely a sufferer of suspicious minds.
I mean,
See.
we ran in the same crowds for a long time, but it just felt... And she would go to the parties, but we just kind of just ended up falling away from each other. Maybe it's because of all the gossip she tended to do, I don't know. Or maybe the fact that I was very successful in getting married, and my parents were more successful than hers. Maybe that was it.
I like to imagine the issue comes from Ashley being very successful at her career.
Mm-hmm.
Because you may have noticed, and he kind of makes that point of not looking at Ashley as he says this. You might have noticed she makes a bad debutante, which is an incredible scientist.
You are correct in that I am very bad at doing what my father meant me to do.
but you're very
Well,
good
sir-
at what you chose to do.
You're right about that too, sir.
Well, sometimes you have to disappoint your parents in order to make yourself happy.
I like being the way I am. I like being a scientist.
And we
It's
like you as a
much
scientist.
It's much more rewarding than the parties, and obviously you see now what the parties are like.
I can see why you didn't like them that much.
I still went to them.
I imagine you go to them mostly for the food.
Connections.
That too.
Mainly for connections. Food? Yeah, that would be nice if it's good food. It's not always good food. The company it keeps, I tend to stay in the front rooms, and I don't go in the back rooms. Normally. Well, at least when I was married. That wasn't my thing.
Well, like I said, sometimes in order to be happy, you gotta disappoint your parents.
True enough. So,
This is something I have explained to students before. Because you often run into students who just don't have their hearts in it because they really don't want to follow the path that their parents have paid for them.
I could not work a day in my life if I wanted to, and I would be set for life.
But you would be
that
bored as hell.
Bored as hell is the correct word. Yeah.
Like, you know how many students have dropped out because I said you don't have to please your parents?
You do realize that most of the women that come to college these days are just looking for a man to marry?
Yep.
That's just the way it is.
Pity Cain isn't here. Because then I could say something and it would make so much more sense. Oh, thank God!
I apologize. I keep going back and forth. I'm hungry and I've only been home for like an hour and a half.
Understood.
Well, you're about to understand. You're about to understand Francis's character type. Now, you see, those kind of things are the reason why I get into the quote-unquote, as he puts it, cock-blocking business.
Why? Because you're trying to stop the women from getting their husbands?
From just coming here for that.
Well, that's...
Do you know how many of them have potential that could be wasted if they just come here for a husband?
Yes, I do. But they still come here for their husbands because of their parents.
What's he
Yes.
talking about?
Do you know the reason why most women
I
go
don't know.
to
I
college
think
these
they're
days?
trying to have some kind of dick measuring contest about who has it harder, a teacher or a female student. That's as much as I've been able to follow.
I zoned out. Admittedly I zoned out.
We weren't here for
I'm not sure what they're even arguing or debating, but
No,
Honestly, I'm not either.
we were talking about Linda, my former friend, who showed up at my house the other day.
After a murder, to describe said murder.
And this murder, the only information we know is that she died in the newspapers, but the way my friend suggested it is as if she had her face down in a pie, gorged on the pie, something like that.
But was it an actual pie or was it somebody's pie?
That is a very personal question.
Classy.
I don't think you want the answer.
I don't think that really matters at this rate. Or does
Hell,
that matter in the situation?
Well, you met her. Melanie was the one that Vinny was running around with. And Melanie, as she kept saying, she didn't go to these parties normally. She was the
one who owned the baking company, Schumer Sweets.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
Well, let's
Kane's
see
gonna
if it-
shrug.
Was
Well,
there
let's see if
for the sin killer
Mhm.
7, whatever we're gonna call him, for the Kevin Spacey murder? Has there been a gluttony murder yet?
No.
We don't know.
There has not been.
Has there
one
been
on
a
that.
found gluttony murder yet? Okay. Has anyone examined this woman's body to find out if the word gluttony had somehow been like branded on her?
Nope.
We do not know.
Do we know what language it was branded in? Because these murders haven't been.
Oh, see,
They
here's the thing,
just-
right, Francis. Here's the thing. You don't know.
Nobody's
All
nobody
you know
is in the
is the
newspaper.
only information. Yeah, the only information that has been released is a small article on like page 3 of a local newspaper that local business owner Melanie Schumer of Schumer Sweets,
Found dead.
now ex-entrepreneur, was found dead in her flagship bakery in suspicious circumstances. Police are
Face down in a pie.
No, it did not say that.
Did not say face down in the pie.
That's-
No, Linda
Yeah,
said that.
That's the thing.
Okay, did Linda mention
that
anything about
information.
like?
Well, with that information of like she clearly has a couple extra details that were not put in the papers, you could assume she probably knows someone in the media.
Well,
Her type
that
usually
means
do.
typically means either time to go and check out the body, or do the fun thing that I could do: break into the morgue.
We don't have
Aiden
to
just
break
looks
it.
and just sighs and shakes
Hey,
his
let me
head.
have fun.
No. You are not breaking into the Boston morgue.
Cain, I'm putting you in charge of figuring out how to kidnap the Dracula child, dude. Have fun with that.
Yes, let's do that. I would rather the U.S. government has a problem with us than the local Boston PD.
Bet.
Wait, why?
Because the local Boston PD has more opportunity to have people make things a problem for us.
And the U.S. government doesn't?
Hey,
Oh,
We
right.
have
A lot of
Kane's
wealthy
point-
people.
Kane's gonna point to Nathaniel. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, he was on the what? How many cases did you follow after me? Like how
To
many
be
how many
fair-
cases did you have to follow up on after me?
I don't know what you're speaking in reference to.
The like when we first made the characters, I'm referencing that it's because you had followed up on cases where Cain had killed creatures.
Oh yeah.
Like how many cases did you have to follow up on?
3.
Let's make it 7.
All right. Anyway, no, it's gonna be fairly easy actually. Like, if we do want to spend time looking into this, we could just go down to the police station. I'll flash my badge, use some, extrajudicial power, and at least get some questions answered.
Yes, that would be much preferable to breaking and entering.
Agreed.
He says, well, expressly looking at Cain.
No fun.
And as soon as you say that, he points at the crowbar and says, no,
Ah,
put it back.
Bad.
fine, non-lethal.
No, you... Nathaniel, please, if this man attacks a police officer, shoot him.
I said non-lethal.
Got it. If
And-
this man
and the
attacks a
leg.
police officer, also shoot the police officer. Got it.
Yeah, for Cain, shoot him in the leg.
If okay.
Oh man.
If Cain attacks a police officer, to protect Cain, I shoot the police officer in the leg. Got it.
No, you shoot Cain in the leg. You murder the police officer. You Tommy gun out, splatter him. Shoot Cain in the leg.
So
You
what
know
you're
what? I'm
saying is
completely okay with this. If
So
Cain
what you're
gets shot by a
saying
police
is-
officer, I kill the police officer and then I shoot Cain in the leg.
Yep.
I am okay with this sequence of
This idea.
So what you're saying is no witnesses. Got it.
Hey, if there's nobody
No
to witness,
witnesses,
there are no
including the murderer.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
Kane's gonna point to himself. Look, if I don't leave anyone alive, is there really anyone to witness a murder?
Well, that's the question. I mean, does a tree falling over in the woods make any noise?
You never know.
Exactly.
What's the sound of one hand clapping?
Sorry, hold on. I have to take off my noise cancellation.
Okay, well, anyways,
It sounds
I will think of a non-lethal
able to,
way.
yeah. There you go. That's one hand clapping.
Did you just like open and shut your hand rapidly or something?
Yes, that's how you clap with one hand.
Admittedly, that's not actually clapping, though. Like, if you define clapping as bringing your hands together in order to produce a sound, like from the connection of two separate palms together, then no, that is not the sound of clapping.
Are you not going to ask how I had an
To be
idea of what I
fair-
did?
Because you're weird and have thought about it yourself. But no,
No,
I mean,
the
you're
Simpsons
actually,
used it
yeah,
as
you're
a joke.
taking the Simpsons joke. Yes, that's how Bart gets like omniscience,
Yeah,
figuring that out.
Yeah,
But no,
you're-
the,
Dead
know
Party
what?
Society.
the other thing is, the sound of one hand clapping can be qualified as your palm hitting anything. Because
So a slap.
technically, if I slap you in the face, I'm clapping my hand off you. Also, one hand clapping, I can easily do that. This is the sound. There, that was the sound of me petting a non-existent dog. Because in the UK, there are areas where clapping a dog is the reference to petting the dog. I had a cousin
But
that
you
said
forget,
that
dear
to me.
sir, this
and
game is
confused the fuck out of me.
this game is taking place in the good old U.S. of A.
Which is still currently
So
about
it doesn't
86% not American.
So it doesn't count.
All right, that's it. Give it 5 years, we're gonna bomb you.
Mhm.
Well, you want non-lethal route? Tear gas.
All right, so
You're not attacking.
Anyway.
Why do we need to break into the morgue?
No, not
not.
more. I'm talking about the kid.
Oh,
Taking out the police guys.
you know, I had
Whatever.
briefly considered that. The problem is that we're trying to avoid there being any kind of alarm being raised, and most of these things like this are more likely to cause an alarm than not.
Shock him, knock him out that way.
That was the other thing I had considered. However, it's like, how confident are you in being able to quickly, efficiently, and very quietly knock out an armed man?
I don't know. Let's find out. Francis, pull out your gun.
Francis pulls out his sword.
Kid's gonna pop him in the face.
Hold on. No. Let's just, you pop him in the face. Francis Steyer says, no, helps Francis speak. No. That's not how we test this. Here, hands Francis his pistol. Now do it.
We are somehow now at Three Stooges short.
I mean, to be fair,
if you want a
no,
non-lethal,
here's the thing. Are you actually going to try and put him in a sleeper hold?
fuck it, yeah. You want a tough roll for that?
That'd be
No,
an act under-
actually, I
You want
would
Francis
ask for
to roll
Francis
something.
to roll that, and if he succeeds, you fail epically
Oh, fair.
because you.
But
are
if
an
I
NPC
fail, I
right
get a
now.
level up.
That's
I level
also
up.
fair, yeah.
There you go. All right, yeah, you get him in a headlock. What are you demonstrating with this headlock?
I gotta decide how I'm gonna level up.
Kane's
Yeah.
just gonna just put him in there. It's just slip behind him, put him in it. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Why do you think that?
All right, yeah. As soon as the thing starts,
What are you doing?
as soon as the speech starts slurring, Hayden's gonna smack the table and be like, "Let him fucking go."
Your Kane would have already done it.
Francis just falls to the ground. Ugh!
Pick him up. Put him on a chair, for fuck's sake. God, fucking children.
Okay, to be fair, that actually felt really good. Not gonna lie.
Hey, you got him a level up.
I know.
Yeah, which means I gotta look to see if there are any other flake moves, or otherwise I might take a move from another playbook.
Hey, see, this raises an interesting question. Like, how do you want to represent leveling up as a result of getting choked unconscious? We want to say that you now have an erection. Just make it worse for everyone. No one is happy about this outcome.
Idea. No one gets the erection, but he just has a vision as he's blacking out of just something new popping in his head. It's like,
Will you
Yeah,
please
whatever
cover
it
that
is.
thing? Please cover
Whatever
that thing.
it is. Yeah, whatever it is that you choose, you have a vision of that. It's basically like the universe saying, like, Francis, this is what you need. And then, yes, that is represented by the fact you now have the most awkward boner in the world.
And I'm unconscious.
Yeah, you're going to wake up with a boner sitting in a chair. In like 10 seconds. You're not KO'd.
yeah, you're not knocked out. You're knocked out. You just basically just cut off your air to your head.
Yeah, I'm aware of how.
Of how chokehold works.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yes, I'm now reading through. I am now reading through the Flake playbook again. I'm already sneaky.
Cage is like counting off on his finger.
Now that apparently works on Francis quite well. Are you confident in you doing this against? Are you confident in doing this against a Secret Service agent?
I mean, technically, you're the same thing.
Okay, demonstrate on him.
Oh, I'm a boy. I'm a boy. I'm not with the SS.
Let's
Yeah,
not call it
fair.
that.
Why do you think he called it that?
Well, I mean, the only other way is like getting a hold of like one of their radios or something, lure them away. I mean, it'd be easiest way. Just you guys want a distraction? I can cause one.
Would they have personal? Hold on. Would they have personal radios?
If it's Secret Service, why wouldn't they?
No, because
It's still 1929.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, most of the advance with radios came as, the way that they were being used during the Second World War, which hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. It was in the Second World War that they actually learned how to do it.
You just run in. Guys, Japan's bombing us! And that's the distraction.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway.
So, Hayden will point out that it may be beneficial if you can get the timing just right. If there's one patrolling inside the building and the other two outside, essentially as soon as they go on patrol in the inside, let's just say that it takes them 20 minutes to do the inner patrol. That would give you the most, if you're able to get them, like, as soon as they are solo.
Yeah,
Not
the most
gives you the most time to work with. And if necessary, I mean, I can send one of my guys with a truck if required. Although I'm pretty sure yours should be more than sufficient. Although we could possibly disguise it if you don't want to be traced back if someone sees. Since unfortunately this does kind of have to be done during the day.
Well, no. Good thing this is happening during the day. Like, it'd be much harder if we had to try and do it at night.
Yeah, I'm thinking more the fact that under the cover of night, it's less likely that someone would see the vehicle parked.
Yeah, but then we're trying to kidnap a Dracula at night. Like, that just seems like a losing combination.
Well, yeah, yes, this is my point. Like, during the day it's easier to see the vehicle, but it's also you can't do it at night. That's the problem.
Mhm. All right. Well. All right. I
Well,
suppose that is the plan. I would like to wait until we have a few extra people trying to help with this.
Yeah, I think that's a sensible idea.
All right. So you want to do this tomorrow then? Is that what you're trying to come up with? Because I don't know if Elle's going to be back until tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Let's go to the
preferably
board
preferably like to have all hands on deck for this one. So, Elle, Vinny, anybody else that wants to be here, like.
Well, I guess you're not going to do it tonight. That's for sure.
Hell no.
We're not doing this at night. Are you crazy? Kidnapping a Dracula at night. What are you thinking?
Right. So, I'm guessing tomorrow would be the best way. So, we'll wait
Presumably
until
everybody's
tomorrow.
happy. In the meantime, let's swing on down by the morgue or precinct or wherever they're keeping that one lady's body and see if this is connected to the sin murderer or if it's just a coincidence. Though the fact that she apparently died face down in a pie highly indicates that she's being accused of gluttony because she makes food. I really don't understand how this sin murderer thing works.
I mean, depending on her line of work, she could be a binge and purger, which would still be guilty of gluttony.
She was a sweet girl, so
really,
I mean, I do know she was trying to lose some weight, and she was coming up with new recipes for the weight loss.
Oh yeah, because you did mention at the party she was a bit on the chubby side.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, I mean, when I say that's true, just that psychopathic serial killers don't exactly have to make sense in their motivations.
True. But who's to say it's a psychopathic killer? If they're connecting to the sins, it could be related to Elle. Trying to get her attention. Or their attention.
I mean, that doesn't mean they're not a psychopath.
True.
So, I guess you're gonna.
Did Elle I'm trying to remember. Did Elle think there was any kind of connection with the murderers, or?
Our memory serves. The only thing was basically the fact that it was Enochian.
Yeah.
That was being used.
And
but I'm pretty sure Enochian was invented by
Well, yes, in the real world. In the real
Ancestry.
world, Enochian is a bullshit made-up language. In the Waystone universe,
all
it's
right, fair enough.
a actual language. Like it is.
It was transcribed by. It was not Francis Crick. John Dee. It was transcribed by John Dee, who was instructed by, some sort of biblical source.
Yeah, we're basically just using it as insert mystical, legit language here.
Yeah.
Gotcha, voices. I'm on the same page.
I'm not.
Cool. Well, no, that's
I don't even think I'm in the same fucking book.
Dude, you're in the appendices.
Probably.
You should go back a
Checking
couple
page
pages.
You know what? I like that. I like that kind of phrase. I'm going to use it going forward. We're not on the same page. You're in the appendices.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the first time I actually had my hands on a full set of the Encyclopedia Britannica at a public library.
Yeah. All right, so time loop, heading towards the morgue. Welcome back. Perfect timing. Y'all are
If you would like
to
be going to the morgue, you're currently sitting in the back of Nathaniel's van. It's not
going to
very
be doing
comfortable.
research.
Okay, you're back at the archives. Cool.
Well, then you can fuck off.
Oh, that's just being nasty.
No, seriously, Cain, are you gonna go with them or no?
No, I'm going to be doing research.
Okay.
Alright, so while Cain is elsewhere doing research, you two are headed to the morgue.
You arrive and head in. Are you doing anything like immediately prior to walking in?
I'm sure Nathaniel's flashing his badge.
Oh no, I mean you walk into the building and there's a reception. You know, it's kind of like a normal building that exists in the world. Are you doing anything, having any discussions or whatever, planning how you're going to assault the location with the tactical nuke that Nathaniel keeps in his briefcase? Are you doing that prior to walking in, or are you just walking in?
So the plan is we aren't going to shoot anybody. We aren't going to desecrate the corpse. We're just going to turn it over and see if something's carved into her back.
Yeah. Like legit. Like, well, honestly, they should know this already. Like, we should be able to like talk to a coroner or whatever the 1920s equivalent thereof. I don't know if the position technically exists yet, but
Coroner does exist.
okay.
Coroner definitely exists.
Whatever medical professional was tasked with examining her remains.
This is a big city. Coroner does exist. It's also a high profile. Coroner does exist.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And as coroner, they must have heard. They've thoroughly examined her.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Am I...
now you're the one that's getting beat with a newspaper now.
Is that was that a song reference I'm just not catching? Because it sounds very familiar.
You referenced it, yeah. You almost said it. It is the line from the coroner from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay. Was not even aware there's a song called The Coroner in The Wizard of Oz.
No, but like he may be right, because there's a lot of very
As coroner, I must have I thoroughly examined her, and she's not only nearly dead, she's really most sincerely dead. Is a line from Ding
Really
Dong,
most
which is
sincerely
dead.
Ding dong.
Wow. Okay. Alright.
Is anybody surprised I can quote that word for word?
No, not
That's
surprised
wicked.
at all. Not surprised.
And I'm trying to get everybody to watch that.
I already seen it. It's not surprising at all.
Yeah, anybody who knows me is not surprised I can quote it word for word. Anyway, back to examining a corpse, potentially beating it.
No, my point to all of this is that like there should already be a coroner's report.
Well, you guys just gotta get it. So yeah. You walk in.
So person with the badge, do your thing.
It's the standard kind of building. You walk in, there's like a kind of a sort of marble tiling on the floor. Like it looks nice. It's not exactly super fancy, but it looks nice. There's a couple pillars here and there. There's a balcony upstairs that you can kind of look over. And right in front of you is a large, wide reception desk with one dude who, in the modern era, you probably expect would be sitting there, one hand holding a phone, the other hand typing on a keyboard. This one, on the other hand, is sitting there with a stack of notebooks, and there's a stack of files that they're going through.
The typewriter would exist already,
Yeah,
I think.
They're making hand notes. I know the typewriter exists. It exists long ago. But yeah, they're sitting there going through stuff. Because it's the early evening, right? So they're basically like just going through like
it's always going to be faster. It's always going to be faster and cheaper to just scribble out notes on a notebook.
Exactly.
Fair.
You save the typewriter for like explicit official stuff. But anyway, yeah.
So as you walk up, there's a brief kind of glance up, and then you look back, and they're just like, "Yeah, Boston, coroner's office. What do you need?"
Oh, sir. I'm Nathaniel Prenton, agent of the BOI.
Like you could just hear like pencil scribbling.
Yeah. Show him the badge.
And glance up and look at it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My understanding was that there was... Yeah, and these are my lackeys. My understanding was that there was a... my understanding was that there was a... I'm trying to think... Remains? Like what the corpse...
High-profile corpse brought in.
My understanding was that there was a high-profile corpse brought in earlier today. One miss and, whatever. I forget.
So what?
He couldn't remember her name.
My understanding is
right,
that
yeah, you're
today,
blanking on the name.
Yeah. Me,
All right,
yeah. Me
Okay,
out
yeah.
of universe is blanking on the name.
Okay, yeah. Well, you in universe remember that the name would be what was it, Miss Melanie something?
I like the
What was
fact
her
that
name?
even out of universe, the voices are also blank.
Melanie
What was it?
Schumer.
Schumer, that was it. Yeah, because I was stuck on the word sweets and I was thinking that's not it.
Schumer.
No, that's Shitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's Scrumptious.
No, it's actually Wreck-It Ralph, so shut up. So yeah.
God, I have to watch that movie again.
You should, it's a good film. So yeah, you will remember that her name is Melanie Schumer. And yeah, the guy looks up. Yeah. What do you need?
May we see the coroner's report? I'm investigating a series of
High
series
profile.
of unusual deaths that have occurring, looking for common patterns.
Okay. Well. And he kind of gestures across to the side. You're gonna have to take a seat. I need to go and actually get the coroner. Because it's
Perfectly all right, sir.
Yeah, they'll then basically stand up, head round, they go off to the side door and disappear for about 40 seconds or so.
So
you guys
in that
discussing
time,
anything?
Francis will turn to Nathaniel and say, "Would you believe that that coroner's work, as we know it today, has only been around for about 20 years?"
I can believe it.
Yeah, because modern forensics starts around this time.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
well,
always
that's the
needed
kind of
someone
funny
to just walk over and kick the corpse, make sure they're not, still.
Yeah, I mean, that's
And
kind
even
of the
then,
funny
they
thing.
still get it wrong from
is
time to
that
time.
looking at the building from outside, it kind of looks like a relatively small bank, probably used this building before. And then when you walk in, it kind of gives you bank vibes for the way it's set out.
Well, yeah, they've got deep deposit boxes. It's relatively temperature controlled. It's humidity controlled because sometimes people keep art in banks.
Yeah.
It's a great place to keep a corpse. Man, that sounded wrong to say out loud.
And yet it's almost like you went out of your way to say it. Anyway.
Should I take that out of here?
That's the bad man. No, FBI, that's the bad man. He's the one you want to arrest for all those corpses hidden in banks. I'm actually being irritated.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So
yeah,
well,
you can play the coroner.
I will go ahead and play the coroner.
Yeah, because I'll only be here for about 10 more minutes.
They come out, looking and seeing. Yes.
Agent Prenton, BOI. Shake their hand.
Lackey.
They do not shake your hand, due to the fact that they're kind of a little bit
bloody.
I don't think you want to shake
I like
hands,
the idea that
sir.
Nathaniel stuck his hand out without realizing. And,
what can I do to help you? I was busy.
Oh, I'm very sure, and I want to get out of your hair as quickly as possible. Now, my understanding is that earlier today, a Miss Schumer was brought in.
What about it?
Well, I'm investigating a series of unusual, potentially related deaths that have occurred in the area. As you're aware, matters relating to spree murder, serial killers, that sort of thing falls from the BOI jurisdiction. Now, I don't want to say that that's what's happening yet, as of this point, we're still just looking into patterns. But I have a few questions about the state that her remains were found in. Do you have a report ready?
Actually, I was working on the report.
Oh, good. That means you have the body out.
Yes.
May we see the corpse?
Are you sure you want to see the corpse? You may be a little bit squeamish.
I've seen worse than what you're going to show me. Trust me.
I've machine gunned Sasquatch children, sir. I'll be fine.
Excuse me?
Francis looks at what?
I said I've seen many things in my service, sir. I'll be fine.
That's what I thought you said.
All right. I need your badge.
I'm just over here dying and laughing a little bit.
I seriously need your badge.
I can show him my badge.
And and who's your boss?
My official, sort of handler? Yeah, I can give him that.
Do they know that you're on this case?
We like to keep things a little hush-hush.
You know this is a high-profile case.
I promise, solemnly swear, that I will touch and interfere with nothing. If you have the report ready, or are even able to just describe certain aspects of it remains to me, then that will be fine as well.
No.
I promise you this: no information you give to me will find its way to the press.
Huh. What about your friend here?
I have no interest in leaking anything to the
He needs to have a
press.
smoke break outside.
Okay.
Actually, I could go for a smoke right now.
Then go do so.
He pulls out a pipe and some crazy looking tobacco from his pocket. Goes outside. It's not weed.
I will be calling your superior. Just so you know.
All right, if you want to waste more highly appropriate time, go ahead.
I mean,
But in
in
the
fairness, your
meantime-
superior gave you the instruction of don't get yourself in trouble, don't get yourself killed.
How is this trouble? I'm literally just asking questions.
Well, they're gonna
True.
ask if you have authorization for this.
Of course.
All right.
Well, you could tell your boss you were at the party and so was she.
Did you just say that?
No, he's already left.
Hell-
He's simply talking to himself outside.
No, he's talking to the player to give him ideas of how he could get himself out of this.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they take you back after a bit to their office. Conversations are made. And then, alright, fine. I don't know how the BOI is involved in this, but okay. Right. So, Miss Schumer was found dead in her bakery, gorging on a pie, or seems like it.
Gorging, that's very strong words to use.
Well, her face was down in it. Not
Was
sure.
there any indication of foul play?
Not really, except for the marking on the back did not seem to fit.
Marking on the back. Could you, when you say marking, like a birthmark or a...
Oh no, this was
An
not a
unsightly blemish,
this
or-
was definitely not a birthmark.
Could you sketch it from memory?
Actually I did, and shows the picture.
Make a quick copy of that in my own notebook. Now, I do not read Enochian, but in preparation for this, and obvious
And
clues
due
are
to
obvious.
the fact that Elle already gave you pictures of what the different words could be.
Yeah. Is this gluttony?
It's gluttony.
Okay. Indeed. All right. Were there any other signs of struggle or injuries on the body?
That's the weird thing. It just it's as if she just choked on her own pie.
Sure. Well, not from me, obviously, but when you must release this to the press, I'm sure the papers will have a field day with it.
I have no, I'm not releasing any more than what I did because I don't know more than that.
Well, I mean, at some point you're going to have to, but that's beside the point.
It will depend on. Will depend on the police officers and of course the BOI first.
All right. Well,
because some things they do not want brought out.
Now you
just in
see that
case
she
we
was
can
in
find
the
the
now-
perpetrator, and if the perpetrator says something
May I
more
ask?
than they should, then they
May
should
I
be
ask?
considered.
Yeah. May I ask what type of pie it was?
It looked like it was a apple pie.
I was hoping you would say rhubarb.
Apple pie.
Yes.
All right. Just in my little notebook, just write. That's your question mark? Like.
See, I was actually hoping blueberry because you could go with somewhere if it was a blueberry pie.
Could go with blueberry. Yeah, but it looked like it was
Because
an
poison.
apple pie.
All right. Well,
And what it does
Strawberry
seem
pie and you
like
get thinner.
she was working on a new recipe.
testing out new recipes. Okay.
Mhm.
Any clue as to the cause of death?
Again, that is the strangest part. The only thing we can figure out is that she choked on the pie
Just literally choked on a pie. You found pieces of pie in her
in her throat.
air valves. Okay. All right. Well, make notes of that. Thank you very much for your cooperation. In my inevitable report, I'll speak very highly of your capabilities and your willingness to cooperate.
Oh, thank you, sir. Again, I will make sure that your betters know.
I'll
that you're
grab
here.
like an extra pair of gloves off a thing and shake his hand with them.
Okay. Then we'll shake.
These have been officially commandeered as functions of the boy.
Mhm.
Now, when Nathaniel gets outside, he'll find Francis smoking tobacco that, for whatever reason, is producing strange colors.
Oh my god.
All right, Francis. Looks like our suspicions were correct. It's the Sin Killer once more. She had the symbol for gluttony somewhere on her body. However, and it appears that she died. As far as the coroners can tell, it appears that she died from literally choking to death on the pie. The other victims, they had. I'm trying to think if their cause of deaths were in some way related to their sin.
So far.
Well, you said the
Pride was
one at the
shot.
radio. You said that the radio station one was Greed, right?
Pride.
He was Pride. Pride was shot, which doesn't that doesn't directly tie to Pride. But
Bubble shut down in their prime.
I mean, you could say that
what
about
they're
literally
doing.
any of these people. They were cut down in their prime.
Fair.
You do know the
Moment in the
Dr.
spotlight and their bubble
Namus,
was burst.
If you knew, well, you haven't even checked on Dr. Namus. You just know he's dead. And you haven't checked on Maxine Summit either.
Fair. Do we know what sins they were equated to?
You do know what sins they were equated to because the mark.
If we knew what sins are, it's a very simple thing to just from there. How did they die?
Because the Pride one was shot in a relatively public radio station
Right.
on air,
Yeah.
which would have damaged their pride.
You know that.
I mean, it might have been a coincidence. Oh, you know what? One last thing. Just sort of poke my head back in. Just as a piece of advice to the corner, check the pie. Make sure there wasn't anything unusual added in.
I can do that. Absolutely. Be interesting to know.
All right.
Now, have you seen the other bodies? Or any other bodies that are involved with this?
Who is asking this?
The coroner.
I already left.
Oh,
Like
well,
after offering
he could shout it.
after offering the suggestion.
well,
of
they would
testing
have been
it,
saying that
walk
just
out.
as you're walking out.
Yep.
So as you're walking out, that would have been asked.
There's no way that if multiple of these have shown up at different morgues, that it hasn't come up amongst the communities. Like, the markings will be known about. Somebody will put 2 and 2 together, somehow get 4. Telephone will happen and it'll become 5.
You, Cain. What research are you working on?
Well, they were talking about earlier about how to turn the kid back into a human, right?
Yes.
That being a
more
potential
research
outcome.
if it is possible, like if because Cain knows a little bit, but he's going to do some more research into it.
Now, you still have a character sheet. You're not going to get any points from it, but please make me a roll. Well, you're an NPC now.
NPCs can level up.
Sort of.
What kind of roll?
Give me... Do you have anything with investigative mystery?
I can literally investigate a mystery.
Then investigative mystery.
Let's roll as a 1, I think. Up. Wait, 1, 2. Yay!
Hold on.
I got a 9.
You got a 9. Alright, mixed success. Okay, so what are you wanting to know? You wanted to know... There is a lot of rumors that it is possible if you kill the vampire that ruled them, that they could become free.
Gonna go, like, keep going in more into that.
There are some rumors, and it's all speculation because normally there's not really books about this, but there's speculation that it could be that.
But rumors are at least somewhat based off truth.
There is a possibility that if the ghoul is away from the vampire long enough, it will turn back human. Or
so kill the vampire, then it's called good. Got it.
But it would require the ghoul to be around the vampire, so the vampire would have to be close by at least every month or 2.
So kill the vampire and call it good.
Now there is no information of what it would do to the disease that is in the kid. It only because
Now, is this purely going based off what would be classified as ghouls, or are we going like based off traditional vampire lore, such as the kid would be required to drink vampire's blood too?
The kid would be required to drink the blood
To become a full vampire. So then at this point, without him becoming a full vampire, he is still...
You're not sure if that is the case, but you're pretty sure that if he has like a certain amount of drops of blood, his body can become stronger, better, faster.
So Cain, when Nathaniel and Francis get back, Cain will relay the information. Like it's not much. Rumors mostly.
It's always going to be rumors unless you can actually find an ancient text. And currently in these archives, there is not an ancient text of that particular. Now, you will find that there is a former Vatican text that talks about vampires.
Cain will read up on that. If it's in English.
And it does say that they used holy water on vampires to at least cause some damage.
I'm gonna have to drop here. Let me know next week all this information about Dracula's that you're finding out.
If you're next week. Yeah, I will. I'll be here next week because I have that day off.
Excellent. So,
Cool. See you then.
as of now, we're going to call it for the day. And
Well, I mean, like, you can continue questioning. You can continue, like, resolving this stuff with him. It's just that, like...
right. And then he talks
I got
about
it.
it next week.
Got it. Okay, so you do know
There is something... The Vatican has used holy water before against vampires. It does say it in
like
there.
Cain doesn't do it anyways.
And it does say that they've staked before, but it doesn't seem to kill them.
Yeah, staking usually does. No, unless that's definitely ghouls I've been killing. I don't know. Don't really care.
And then you do know that silver works on some of them,
I mean, obviously, because
and beheading absolutely kills them.
Path returned.
I'm back.
That's what you learn from your information from the Vatican.
Okay.
And the
Oh,
only
Mr.
reason...
I hate all the religion was contacting the Vatican, was he?
Oh,
That's
well, the only reason why you see that book is it's actually Ashley's book.
Cain just sees book. Book.
What? You're not taking that book from me.
No. Just read it right quick. Not gonna take it.
You can make
You
notes
are-
all you want, but you cannot take that book from me.
I
That is
am not gonna
my
take it.
book.
Dude, get closer to your mic.
Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry. There. I'm not gonna take it.
Okay,
I'm not taking it. I just want to read it.
you can read it all you want.
Cain proceeds to literally copy everything down.
Well, you're
Okay,
gonna
so
be
you're
here
gonna be
all
there for
night.
about a month. So you're gonna be there for a month.
It's a big book.
Oh well, he's gonna proceed to copy everything down for the vampire part. Because fuck it.
Okay, you know what? That's gonna be an act under pressure roll. If you fail this, you get cramp in your hand for 2 days.
You know what? Fuck it. Act under pressure. I gotta roll a failure soon. I'm betting this is gonna be it. I was
And
right.
That is the failure. And yes, I'll allow you to take a point for that.
Yeah, I leveled up.
Oh, no, he's NPC. He levels when we say he does,
Yeah.
Aw.
which is never. Nah, I kid.
No, we'll give you that level up.
You gain +1 to broke hand. That's your new ability. You have the slap of someone with a broken hand.
But your hand is cramping miserably, and you can only get so much out.
It's fine. So if I leveled up to, you know what?
Never mind.
Is KK still playing?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna get the Haven.
Okay, fair enough. So
no,
you
which do I want?
selectively copy parts in regards to the things that you think are the most useful.
Yes.
Because I know you're not actually dumb enough to do what you said you did, which is literally copy everything.
No,
Which
copy
means
the vampire
you're
part.
Starting at the start and continue to write for the next 3 days.
He's gonna copy out the vampire part. Unless there's a lot on the vampire.
What's he copying? Because I wasn't there for
He's
that. I
he's
didn't hear
copying from Ashley's book. The book that she
that. Okay, so Ashley's book. What book are we talking about here?
the book from the Vatican, because that's why she was in Italy. And that's also why she knew too much about the vampires and you ended up taking her in. Because she knew too much and she was bit by one. She didn't die from it. She did not become a vampire. But she did have the misfortune of being around vampires.
She was attacked. She was attacked, and Haugen stopped her from being killed.
Yeah. So, this book is the book she had about the vampires. That was when she was doing her study that ended up going way wrong. And it was the reason why she learned the hard way about vampires. Now you want to talk to me? Ashley says to you. Both Haugen and I have experience in this.
Oh, it still doesn't actually hurt to actually get more experience on stuff.
Stakes don't... The stakes will only pause them. It will not kill them. Taking the head will kill them. Silver works on some of them. Holy
that
water
was
kind of hurts them, but it doesn't kill them. Makes them angry.
I mean, the silver part was kind of obvious when we hunted them down with some silver.
Yeah.
Or at least hunted the one down.
The older they are, the stronger they get.
Oh, fun. So, do we know what the vampire is that they're hunting?
No.
Or at least how old it is?
No.
No.
That sucks.
It does.
Well, they also wanted a way to get in. I can think of a way. It's called distraction.
Get in where?
Do the kid.
They have... Haugen will point you to the piece of paper on the boat that has. We have a distraction sorted out.
I didn't know. I thought they were still on about that. Finding a way past the guards.
No, they fucked off. No, they're not fighting past the guards.
That's what I thought.
Theoretically, they may not even come into contact with the guards.
Theoretically. Provided they figure out a way to get around.
Also, the level up. I feel like it's a good level up. With the Haven, I chose Armory and Workshop.
Okay. Kind of makes sense. Because the Armory and Workshop could be like Kara's place.
Yeah.
Since you're spending time there. A lot of time.
I mean, yeah.
There. Anyway.
I mean, Cain helps keep her supplied on stuff.
I mean, it was covered before that basically anyone picking the stuff for, Haven upgrades. Technically speaking, like, it's the players, but it's within the Haven, which is the archives.
Yeah. So it's available.
Yeah, technically speaking, like, anyone has access to whatever Havens to a lesser extent than the person who actually picked it. Yeah, because
I mean, where do you think Cain...
That's the idea.
Where do you think Cain keeps the splinter mace?
I could answer that, but it would be highly inappropriate.
Let me guess, up his ass?
Sideways, around the twist, in a sticky place.
Okay.
I did warn you.
Anyway.
You did.
As you were saying, is there anything else you would like to know?
That's about all I can think of for it. I mean, they know a way in. Worst case scenario, kill the vampire that sired the kid. Or we'll turn the kid at least, technically, but sired. Same thing.
If it's... if it's not already a vampire.
Yeah, Hayden will actually cut you off there. Like, it's not the same thing.
Well, siren, I mean,
And
like
there's-
turning into like
And there's
a
also, and there's also types which clearly don't even have that. Like, I've pointed this out to people several times. There is no one vampire.
Oh, there's
There are
rumors of.
Yes, there are several types. 100% there are several types. There are even daywalkers. Exceedingly rare. But they have been recorded.
Huh.
And we
Wait
do-
a minute.
We do know
Ken's
if
gonna be like,
the older they
Hey.
are, the stronger they get.
I have to make this joke because in reference to I have to. Wait a minute. Daywalker. Does one is one of them happen to carry swords?
No.
Damn.
Yeah, because I know exactly what joke you're making. We're not making a blade joke. We're not making a blade joke until Marvel makes that damn film. Marvel, get your thumb out, make a new blade. Anyway, point
Oh,
is,
I liked the old blade though.
yeah, but they could still make a new blade with
Yeah,
Wesley
but
Snipes as Blade. I'm talking about Blade 4. Marvel, make it happen. So yeah, he'll
Without
point
Disney.
out that just because silver works on one vampire doesn't mean it's going to work on another.
yeah, that's fair.
In theory, if they're from the same strain, let's say, then yes, it'll work. But you could have two vampires that on the surface look completely identical power-wise, and yet one of them is immune to silver.
Well, at least there's some rumors, at least, that if the kid's still a ghoul, then he can potentially be changed back to human.
Well, yes, because it's hypothetically a disease, and diseases can be cured if we can find something that it will respond to.
Well, I mean, from what I was reading up on the rumors wise, you kill the vampire basically, or get the ghoul away from the vampire for long enough.
Yes, but that depends on how their type, whichever type they are, interacts with ghouls. It also depends on how infected the kid is.
That's
I mean,
true.
if he was only infected for a few days, then
Like,
yeah,
the
maybe
bigger
literally
question is,
taking him
do we know
away.
who the vampire is?
No.
So we just know kid is a ghoul.
But we don't know any of that. What we think, based on the information that has been gathered. He'll point out the book that
I wasn't actually here for any of that
yeah,
information.
Nathaniel brought back a book. Yeah, he'll point out, like, Nathaniel got this book with he'll show you the book, and it's like it's full of like very shorthand doctor scrawl, and it gives you a tiny little piece of backstory about Hayden, the fact that he's translating doctor scrawl. Like, to you, it looks like someone literally just taped
It's
a
chicken
pencil to a
scratch.
spider. Yeah, it looks like somebody taped a pencil to a spider and let it go crazy. And he's there saying, yeah, so on this day such and such happened, blah blah blah. He's giving you the information because he's translating it. So he has some sort of medical history.
Kane's just
Because he's able to translate Doctor Scroll.
Kane's just like watching it, just like, I'm gonna start calling you Doc from now on.
You do that enough times, I will stab you. Well, I mean, to be fair, the whole thing is, yeah, you actually have no idea what titles this guy might have, because he's never given any titles. For all you know, he might actually be effectively, Dr. Van Helsing, for all you know.
That's why Kane's like, I'm gonna start calling you Doc.
Sure thing, Marty.
Oh.
hey,
The
whole,
nice.
no, I called you Marty, not Marty.
Oh,
I mean, the whole
heard
thing
Marty.
is, Rick and Morty was 100% initially a Back to the Who joke. Because in the original pilot, Morty was called Marty, and it was called Doc and Marty.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, yeah, he'll point out that like basically what they were able to get was a bunch of vials of blood samples taken at different times over roughly the past year, and the entries in the book sort of show someone was keeping track of this and monitoring it, like keeping track of someone who's infected and monitoring how that's spreading. And he goes through it. It's like there is the possibility, if we can find something that this reacts to, it could be turned back. Maybe. It depends how strong the infection is when he's here. And there's always a point of no return. At some point, it will be that strong that honestly killing him will be the better mercy. Which, as I pointed out to your companions before, and for your benefit, he'll do this because he did this in front of the others. You'll notice, you will remember that Haugen has basically always had a leather glove on one hand
Cain
and never rolls his sleeves up, right?
Yeah.
This time he will actually unbutton his sleeve and roll it back, and you'll see that his right arm is absolutely scarred to hell and burnt. Like, he looks like he's held his arm in a furnace, right? He looks like he shouldn't even be able to move his arm. Yeah. He rolls up so you can see how damaged his forearm is and just holds his hand up. I am prepared to kill the child if required.
Oh, lucky for you, I also got no qualms killing kids.
Good. Because I got this as a result of helping her.
Oh, I take it back. I don't kill kids, I kill monsters. Even if that takes on the form of a kid.
Well, as I told the rest of the group, I will not suffer them to live. That's why I'm worried if they do happen to have some access to an artifact that might find them the original vampire, if it even exists. Because it's going to be way more powerful than them, and it's going to destroy the world. And I don't know about you, but I kind of prefer being alive and not being a vampire.
I look like
I also
this.
prefer not to be on the bottom of the food chain.
That's a bit funny, I actually know that feeling. Considering the fact that I have no idea why I was spared when my family was murdered, but that is what it is.
All these things are sent to challenge us. I dare say Elle would be laughing at us for that comment, but never mind.
Probably would.
He'll pull the sleeve back down. These things are sent to challenge us. Like the hypothetical suggestion of there is a higher power challenging people.
No, the Howard Pyre can go take it. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, like, the character of Elle, quote unquote God, is something that character would have had some interaction with.
Yeah, but Cain doesn't know that. Cain doesn't know that Elle's an angel still.
Okay, missed that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Was he
Wait,
not?
did Elle reveal it to the others?
Yes.
It is faintly. No, it's not 100% revealed. It is partially.
It's mostly.
Yeah,
revealed.
I was not here for that.
I thought you were.
So Cain's response of, the higher power can go suck a dick. Still, quite literally matters to him on that.
At least we can do this discreetly, and hopefully we can save the kid. But who knows? If it's just a ghoul, maybe. If it's a vampire, I don't know.
Thing is still with me. The kid can't be saved from killing him. I don't care
The
to
intention-
kill kids.
The
But
intention currently is grab him, comes back here. I'm gonna have some people reinforce one of the rooms that we have, so that we can basically keep him there under observation.
if that be the case, then after the talk, Cain's actually going to head to the armory, put up the sword, and just grab the splinter mace instead.
Okay. And we're gonna stop
Because-
right there. We're gonna
Same damage, except for it also ignores an armor.
yeah, we're gonna stop right there for tonight. And it will be next time we will be seeing if this kid can be saved. This is Karsa KKWX. Karsa's my name. KKWX is my empire, here today with my friends from NRT as we are looking into two mysteries. One, the Sin Slayer, and the other, the vampires. Goodbye!
Oh, she peeked!